Staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
If you want a first-class, top-of-the-line, high-quality interior remodeling job, you know who I'm going to suggest. Collier & Thompson. Known for their kitchen and bathroom remodels, Collier & Thompson is where you go when you want your remodeling job done right the first time. Collier & Thompson doesn't just do large remodeling jobs. They do plenty of man caves, bars, offices, pretty much anything inside your home. Check out their 10,000-square-foot showroom next to Uncle Bill's Pancake House on Manchester. Let them bring your dream remodel to reality. CollierandThompson.com.
This is the one.
Honey, I think you're right. This house has everything we've ever dreamed of. A huge master bedroom, an open kitchen, and a backyard with a fire pit and built-in grill.
I can't believe it. Finally, our dream home. It's absolutely perfect for us.
We owe our realtor big time.
No, you don't. We're just doing our job. At the Jeff Lotman Group, helping you find your dream home is our top priority. Bringing people and properties together. Call us at 314-406-8911 or visit us online at jefflotman.com.
Elevate your performance. Pure Performance is your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. Known for their top quality work and outstanding customer service. It's officially Jeep and Bronco season. Pure Performance carries any accessory for your vehicle, old models to brand new. From sunshades, soft tops, trail doors, to off-road gear like bumpers and light bars, Pure Performance has you covered. Stop by the Pure Performance showroom at 3725 Harry S. Truman Boulevard in St. Charles or visit pureperformance.com. That's PURperformance.com.
Hey, it's Jackson. TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially, saving for retirement and college, while also paying bills and enjoying life along the way. Whether you are starting your financial planning or if you're already retired, call Mark Hanna. Mark works with you to design a financial strategy. His straightforward approach starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your financial needs. Visit evergreenstl.com or call 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and offers insurance and annuity products through Equitable Network, LLC.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here right now with James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. I made the switch to start working with you, James. It couldn't have been easier to make that switch to start saving money.
Well, I appreciate that, Tim, and we appreciate your business. Yeah, this is the time to save money. My goodness, we're all feeling it at the grocery store, at the gas pump, etc. So if you've noticed that your insurance rate has gone up, I want to stress how easy it is to get a proposal from us by going online at carltoninsurance.net.
Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency online at carltoninsurance.net.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is now right at your fingertips here in Illinois. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. We're excited about launching our Circus Sports app in Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Start betting like a pro from anywhere in Illinois.
Hope your imaginary friends are hungry, because IHOP's new menu, inspired by the movie If, is our most imaginative yet. With blue raspberry pancakes, a pizza omelet, unbelievable soda pops, and more. It's time to set your imaginary friends free. Only at IHOP. Kids eat free every day 4 to 10 p.m. And see If in theaters May 17th. One free kids entree per full-priced adult entree. Restrictions apply. This film is not yet rated.
Hi, this is Doug Biggs from Longo Biggs Injury Law. I'm about to tell you a little inside information about attorney advertising. Buyer beware. Around town, you'll see all kinds of billboards, commercials, and hear radio ads for personal injury law firms. But these billboard firms aren't what they appear to be. After every attorney ad you see or hear is this phrase: the choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't solely be based upon advertisements. There's a reason for that, because all firms are not created equal. What you probably don't know is that if you hire one of these big billboard law firms, you'll hardly ever talk to your lawyer. You don't know which lawyer you're going to get. Could be a first year or someone who's never even tried a case. Your case might even be shipped over to another firm. That's right, the firm you trusted your case to just flipped it to another firm. The bottom line is many of these huge firms are nothing more than a marketing machine who look at your case as a return on their advertising dollars. Many of the faces and names you see never go to court and never handle a case. At our firm, you get exactly what you thought you were getting. CD or myself on your case, both experienced trial lawyers who are in court every week. Don't trust your case with just anyone. Check us out online at longobigs.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com. KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Brown and Crouppen Morning After on KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the Morning After STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, and Action Jackson.
7:07 in St. Louis. You're listening to TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Welcome, friends, to the Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. Timothy Michael McKernan, Douglas Elvin Vaughn, Jackson Bennett Burkett, and in studio today, filling in for the vacationing Carnegie Strode, is Chairman Kurt. Doug, Chairman Kurt's on my left.
I saw him sitting over there. Hello, Chairman.
Hi, Doug. Good morning.
Morning to you.
It's great to be in here.
Well, it's fabulous that you decided to join us.
Anytime you need me, I'm here for you.
Oh my gosh, how about that?
That kind of attitude goes a long way.
That's a can-do attitude.
It really is. It really is. You're upbeat, you're positive, you're ready to go get them.
Yeah, I try to bring a nice positive attitude to things and lead us to success today.
Okay.
What does this text mean in the South City Sporting Goods text about? It's gatekeep me harder, Jackie boy.
I saw that.
Gatekeep me harder. What is that? Is that a new sexual thing that those of us who are married are not hip to? I'm just more familiar with pegging.
Oh.
Gatekeep me.
Gatekeeping would be like, I'm not allowing you to do something.
That comes from Breezeway, by the way. Is Breezeway a problem?
Not that I can remember. If they're asking about possibly email filtering, there was of course a power transfer, and so
power transfer
to Chairman Kurt to do the filtering.
Oh,
I'll be filtering today because Chairman Kurt, you have to jet at about 9:30.
That's right. He's got a sound story down at CamelX, Doug.
Have you really?
Yeah, that jerk Ackerman.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
he's always kind of been tough to deal with.
He's salty is what he is.
Yeah,
He bounces around from station to station.
He does.
I guess he has been at CamWorks for 27 years, but...
Doesn't count. He was somewhere else before that. Right there.
27
Yeah, have
years.
fun dealing with him.
I'm just going to give him the silent treatment.
Yeah, that's the right way to handle
You don't even look at him.
Don't let him get into his gossip.
Who was the late night host who would only talk to the person during the show and then in commercial breaks wouldn't say?
David Letterman.
Letterman?
Yeah.
You got to give him the Letterman treatment where you only talk to him about sound story stuff. And if he, how you doing, Kurt? You don't,
Yeah,
sorry.
strictly business.
Right.
You gotta ignore it.
He was the one that was high on the NIT, right?
Much to Jennings' chagrin.
Yeah, Jennings didn't like that. Wasn't Steve Harvey another one who didn't want anyone in his show to talk to him?
Yeah, there was a memo that went around. I don't know
the
if
hall or something. Don't talk to Steve.
There was a memo that was like part of it being fair, like, hey, if he's walking down the hall, don't ask for a picture with him, But then others were, it was like, just don't talk to him. It was like, oh, that's a little tough.
I suppose that would. I'd like to think it only comes because people just won't leave him alone rather than the person is just a complete jerkwad.
Right, yeah.
Like maybe he can't go from here to the employee lounge without 5 people wanting to tell him their life story.
Exactly, yeah. Or someone, coming in just for the day, telling them this, that, or the other.
Chairman Kurt, you're already on the short end of the stick because the listeners want Maddie back.
I'm sure. I don't blame him.
Oh, what happened to Maddie?
That is not...
You don't want
No. Where's the raspy-voiced female? I'm rained out and can finally watch live. No! That's from the Freiburg Frankfurter.
Yeah.
Would you like to issue an apology?
I'm sorry that I'm not Maddie.
Thank you. That's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
If my masculine energy offended anybody, then I couldn't be sorrier, Doug.
Do you feel like you're putting out a lot of bull energy right now?
Oh, yeah. Growing horns as we speak.
Okay. Well, she was a delightful gal.
Yeah, positive reviews.
Yeah.
Always very dangerous. I recall at the Hot Shots that Jackson's life was devalued, as was mine. We did it in the midst of COVID. It was me, just you and Jennings, I believe.
Correct.
Which, with the benefit of hindsight, is kind of odd.
Different, certainly.
And And I think I said it during the TMA Live that was done exclusively, I believe, for Carlos Spicy Wiener and two ladies. I think Erin in St. Chuck, was she there, Doug? I know you were watching.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, she has nipple rings.
She has nipple rings. And another lass, and I can't recall her name.
Melly Mel?
Melly Mel, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And I said to Jennings, who was high on Jackson simply because he went to Ladue.
Oh, yeah.
I said, I'm pretty high on Jackson too, but I'm scared to publicly endorse him because that's the scarlet letter with a portion of the TMA audience. Right. But I'm kind of high on this Jackson, who at the time was what, 21? 22 bills. 22 bills right off
the young prodigy.
From the Ronnies?
No, I never worked there. Just Columbia, I guess Regal, Columbia.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was my most
movie
recent.
Picture House?
Yeah, Picture
right
House.
off of 63.
Yeah, Stadium
in 63.
Yeah.
Sure. Right by KOMU, if you're heading out to KOMU to do a sportscast, Doug.
I heard they closed the Zaxby's right there. There's one Zaxby's still left in Columbia, but there was one right
What's
there.
What's going on with closing Zaxby's?
That's what I'm saying. We got to start opening more and more.
I want one in St. Louis.
So bad.
Doug, crinkle cuts. How do you do? I wonder why they're not in St. Louis.
What's the equivalent of Zaxby's now?
I guess like Raising Cane's.
Yeah, I think Raising Cane's would be the closest
But
thing.
I don't think Zaxby's had sandwiches, right? It's just tenders.
They do have sandwiches now.
They do?
Ooh, yeah. But they also have chicken wings. They have wingy at Zaxby's that you can't get it. You can't get it at most fast food chicken places.
I just thought it was tenders.
No. I'd say Popeyes is actually a closer comp.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't really do Popeyes.
Popeyes great.
I haven't done it in
it's
40
spicy.
years. It is. It's too much.
You want to talk about a quality French fry?
That's a good fry, Bill. That's a good fry, Bill.
Popeyes fries, seasoned up, real good.
How are they different than the others?
They're really seasoned.
Is that like a Cajun fry?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's outstanding.
So between the chicken and the fries, you just got hot mouth for 2 hours after you've eaten?
You would
hot
know.
mouth. Yeah, nice, Jackson. You hear that? He said you would know. You caught it. I caught it.
I've seen you with a hot mouth.
Clip that off.
Get that out.
Yeah, you got to be able to deliver it.
Looking at a
Not
father
Jimmy
of three.
Fallon it.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm missing Maddie, but KG's still cute, though. Brian Henson. He spelled though, T-H-O. You like that, or do you like
No, you had time. You had time to spell it out.
Kurt has a great beard going right now.
Yeah, I've been working on that.
It's really nice.
I don't like the color. Comes in a little reddish.
Oh, I kind of like it. It's
Yeah.
like Ryan O'Reilly-ish.
How long has that been growing, boy?
This is probably a week. Week or so.
That's a nice beard.
You kind of look a little bit like a Viking, maybe.
Ooh, I'll take that.
With the red beard.
I might take a little Just for Men to it here in the next few days. But I've made the mistake of putting Just for Men in it when it wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
And it just totally stained my face.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we need to let it grow in a little bit, and then I think we might hit it with a little light brown.
It looks
Light
fine
brown.
now.
Yeah,
Thanks, Doug.
I think right there, if you can maintain that, that's a nice Jackson 5 o'clock shadow. Is that 5 o'clock shadow? Is that more than 5 o'clock shadow?
It's graduated.
I'll watch on
now.
YouTube to judge Chairman's beard.
Is it strategic in any way?
No.
Okay.
No.
Holly Marmol's strategic beard.
This KG, he's an emerging bull.
Yeah, that beard is definitely. If you're trying to become a bull, that's a piece you got to add.
Okay, noted.
Guys, Zaxby's in Cape closed too. Such a sad day. When we getting them Patty Mahomes Whataburgers in Chiefs country, St. Louis. That's from Flocky the Smurf. What's going on with Zaxby's? There was one in Hilton Head, and that closed.
Really?
So we got Columbia, we got Cape, we got Hilton Head. Doug, you're an investor in Zaxby's. I know that.
There's a lot of restaurants closing nationwide. A lot of them. Red Lobster's on the skids.
Yeah.
There are others too.
Yeah, there's still one Zaxby's in Columbia, but there used to be two. Now, I have a take on. I just don't think Whataburger's all that. Like
I haven't had it since my Little Rock days.
It's
I was in Conway, Arkansas, Doug, and that's home of Central Arkansas. Scottie Pippen, am I right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't.
They have a massive Scottie Pippen signature on their court. Like it's borderline like obnoxiously big.
Really?
But Whataburger to me just kind of tastes like Burger King.
Does it get a hot mouth?
No hot mouth. They do have spicy ketchup though, which is pretty cool. But I just tasted the burger and I thought it tastes like Burger King, which is no problem. It's fine. But I didn't think it was like at In-N-Out or Shake Shack level of like.
The Burger Kings by me have all gone under too. Well, there's still one there by Home Depot.
There's one in Hampton.
But there's a couple more. There's one across the street from Galleria. That went under.
That one closed.
There's one on South Lindbergh. Went under.
Yeah. That one turned into a massive waterway, that Burger King across from the Galleria. That massive car wash.
Yeah.
But the Burger King on Hampton, right by Long John Silver, is still going strong.
Is it really?
I've never seen a car in there ever.
I avoid that stretch of Hampton like the plague.
Hampton, what? Between like Chippewa and...
Going all the way down to 64.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, Whataburger is just Bougie Sonic. That's from Mrs. Janny Shanahan. Doug, you like that? Bougie Sonic. I like that.
Yeah. That was kind of my takeaway from it.
Call in with your takeaways. Collier and Thompson phone line, 636-9004-TMA. Text in South City Sporting Goods text inbox, 314-881-TMA5, and email in for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Doug, you might not need your air conditioning today. I see highs as the day progresses in the afternoon in the lower 70s. Right now, it's 69 degrees. Nice.
With a ton of rain to come, I think.
I'm telling you. Well, we're in the midst of Hurricane Beryl. It's right over the middle of Missouri as we speak. How about that?
Well, that's great. I thought it was supposed to rain all day yesterday, too, and it didn't really. It rained a little bit.
We had a storm at around 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was out running some errands, signed some autographs. I didn't like it, but the kids wanted them, so I did it.
You would do it just for the children.
It was the children. If it weren't the children, I felt like the parents were going to put it on eBay, but I couldn't differentiate, so I signed.
It's like watching the Pride of the Yankees movie where the kids would gather outside Lou Gehrig's house, and he would graciously walk out and sign.
I did.
Play a little stick ball with him.
Play a little stick ball. Still can't make the throw from second to first, but whatever. But Design Air Heating and Cooling is where you go when it is hotter than the fires of hell, and it will be hotter than the fires of hell once again. Highs in the upper 90s next week. Right now, because of the weather and the hurricane that is over Missouri, it is cooler. Design Air Heating and Cooling, designairservice.com. Doug's a client. I'm a client. Say, friends, why don't you become a client as well and work with Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. Official HVAC provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Jackson and I will do QFTA. I don't know if we do it today.
I can do it whenever this week.
I don't know.
Preferably not tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, what do you got, ball striking?
No, England plays the Netherlands in Euros, and I really want to watch that.
Uh-oh, Doug's got a problem with that.
I really want to watch that.
Two other countries are playing soccer, and so you're going to blow off your job?
Nice.
I've never been this disappointed in my life.
That's a really interesting way of framing that. I would just prefer if we did it today or Thursday, or we just do we stop short of 2 o'clock. I just want to be able to watch the game.
Gosh.
Isn't it amazing that we could start it at 11:15, but Jackson would be concerned that it would still be going at 2 o'clock?
Well, I've done the podcast.
What do you talk about for that long?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea.
Well, we've gone before we would go on YouTube. We've gone, there was one I remember was 3 hours and some change. But with the advent of the YouTube chat during our podcast, sometimes people will ask a question in the YouTube chat. We discuss it for a little bit, and then it
Doug, it's like group sex.
When you could be watching other countries play soccer, you're doing this.
Well, I will make sure that we're done by 2.
Okay.
That's perfect.
If that's the case. I don't know. But either way, you have a question, you have a comment, you're welcome to speculate. But if you'd like the answer, TMCKERNAN at InsideSTL.com. And any and all questions can be for QFTA, unless you say, hey, I just have a question, not for QFTA. And then sometimes people use their name, sometimes people want their anonymity. Doug, I'd say about 75 to 80% want to remain anonymous.
Is that because they're sending in naughty questions?
Not really. Just want anonymity.
Why would you care if they mention your name if you send in a reasonable question?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I don't have an answer. I'm not saying that they're wrong. Maybe they just don't want people to know that they listen to the show.
Well, they're on the lam, maybe. They don't want the police to track them down.
It's possible. Why does Jackson hate Spain and France? Thanks. That's from the unnamed
What is it with
DJ.
that?
They're playing today at 2 o'clock. I'm rooting for England. I root for England soccer.
It's interesting.
When America is not an option. Like when the U.S. played England in the World Cup just a few years ago, or I guess a year and change ago, I was rooting for the U.S., of course. But when the U.S. is not involved, I root for England. I like watching the Premier League. A lot of those guys play on the English national team, and I like watching it. Spain and France is going to be a great game, too. But
could the United States not put together one team to play in the Premier League? Based in New York or Washington or something?
Not really how it works.
I know, but leagues here are always wanting to get a bigger international footprint. You'd think that they would love to get the United States involved.
They kind of got that when they did the NBC Sports deal in the mid-2010s and became broadcast all over the place in the U.S. And that was huge for
that was
growth.
a big step. But you would think giving us a team would be another giant
But then you're
step.
getting the same logistical issues that you have with a team in London in the NFL. How are you going to travel? And they play more games in the NFL, so you're going to have a lot of travel.
We put a satellite practice facility in Brussels.
Brussels in Belgium? Okay.
Yep.
All right, now I'm starting to like this idea more and more.
All right.
4th of July just happened, and you're rooting for England? Great patriotism, Vlad. Doug, that's from the Airplanes Icebox.
Yeah.
Well, some of us can both love living in America and watch international sports without feeling a need of patriotism crawl up our ass.
I'm just afraid you would have tried to silence Paul Revere.
Soccer blows, Jackson. That's some Swayze possible burner.
Yeah, well.
Now you've had
burner
it.
Confirmed.
Burner's confirmed. It's a burner? Doug, Swayze's a burner.
Well,
most of
with
them
texts
are.
like that, you're certainly not helping your case.
Since Chairman Kurt is a young bull, maybe we can put him in the chair 5 days a week, put that old bull out to pasture in the back room and let him chime in every once in a while if he wants. Then he can take super long smoke breaks and not have to be back on time. That's from the 636. Doug, young bull replaces new bull. That line.
Old bull's going to be a gelding? I suppose he could smoke up a storm back in that little closet.
Hotbox that room.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine that? Management walks by and it looks like one of those smoke tanks at the airport.
They have to squeegee the window to be able to see him.
What a plastic footy fan. Only watches Premier League, roots for England internationally. Massive Ted Lasso dork fan. LOL.
Yeah.
That's from Jenny Talia.
Well, on that, I would say that
Jackson's got a little balloon party treatment today on TMA.
And I know that's the case, and I get it. Yeah.
So you're a fan of Ted Lasso, so you're a fan of England? That's the reasoning?
No, I
Were you a fan of England before Ted Lasso?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, because I like watching the Premier League, which is easily watchable in America, as is La Liga, the Spanish league.
La Liga.
But that is...
You guys have a problem with that. Yeah, what about that?
The German league?
Second Bundesliga.
It's easier to watch them during Champions League when it's broadcast on CBS as opposed to trying to find their actual league games. But English Premier League is really easy to watch. It's the best league in the world, so you're watching the best soccer. And being an American sports fan, I only have so much bandwidth. It's tough to watch basketball, baseball, football, all these sports all the time. They play at weird times because it's in Europe. So I just like watching the Premier League. I'm sorry. I apologize that I'm not full into soccer. I just like watching the Premier League.
Yeah.
I like rooting for England. I like rooting for the U.S. and that's about it. And City and the Dogs.
Okay. It just seems like you have this attitude of the United States be damned. It's all about England soccer.
Well, I mean, when you watch the two, it's when you watch the Euros and the U.S. and the Copa America, it was it's tough to watch the U.S. and Copa America. It's fun. The Euros have been electric. So it's just good sports. And it's not like we're in the midst of, football going on and basketball and hockey starting.
Jackson, you've called it the doldrums.
We are absolutely in the doldrums. So
do you consider this the doldrums?
It's probably the slowest time of year.
Yeah.
So therefore the dolge?
Could be. The slowest day, I think, is the day after the baseball all-star
when
game.
they have the ESPYs.
I mean, there is nothing.
Yeah. So, but when you have something like this that doesn't come around every year, you have a cool two soccer tournaments, both Copa and Euros on at the same time. It's fun to get into that.
This time of year, you don't even get high school and college sports.
Right.
Nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's totally barren.
Football hadn't quite started. Yeah.
Of course, you have the Summer Olympiad at the end of the month, but this is usually such a...
Do you like that Summer Olympia as opposed to Olympics?
Yeah. Why don't you just say Olympics?
I like saying the Summer Olympiad.
Don't say it. Say that again. Olympiad.
I had a feeling you were going to be irritated.
I am. There was no need for that. It was an elitist, Ladouist take.
Loves England, hates St. Charles. Interesting. That's from the unnamed DJ.
Yeah, I know.
Well, a lot of my family heritage comes from England, as I assume a lot of Americans. So, I don't know. That's not the reason why I
They've
root
probably
for them.
been to St. Charles more than England.
I guess.
Has your family ever been to St. Charles?
Yeah, my cousin lives there.
Okay.
Have you been to England?
Right. What?
Have you been to England?
No, never been to Europe. That's a box I cannot wait to check.
Oh, yeah, you have to do that.
I think I'm going to check it next year. We were talking yesterday. My plan is to go run with the Bulls in Spain for my 40th birthday.
This young bull is running with the Bulls.
It's only right.
I think that's crazy.
Would you get right in front of them and really take on the horns?
No. I was saying, though, you just got to be a little faster than the slowest guy.
Yeah. There's some people who really get maimed in that.
Yeah,
Get run over.
Yeah.
Not me.
Okay.
I'll take on the Bulls.
Well, it would be fun. It would be interesting for sure, just to see it, even if you're not in the middle of the road.
Yeah, it's every year right around my birthday, so I've been planning a little trip to Pamplona for a few years now. So next year I'm turning 40, and
How about that?
love to do it.
Loves England, hates anal. checks out. That's from Midge or Madge, Doug. Midge or Madge.
You can extrapolate whatever you want from that, but I don't think there is much correlation. But, people want to have their opinions. It's cool. I like watching. I assume a lot of people out there also enjoy watching England, so sorry.
James Corden, did you see the video? He was on stage putting on a little play, and he stopped the play so that he could watch the penalties.
Yeah, it was exciting stuff.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Good for James Corden.
Doug, do you respect that? I mean, you would do live shots outside of Game 6 of the 2011 World Series and let people know that it's going on behind you.
Mm-hmm. So, what does that say to the audience who's there to see him when he stops to watch something else?
They seemed completely into it, too. I think they were on board with it.
Did they have big screen TVs there?
No, he was just on the little stage watching it on his phone, and they were just kind of living vicariously through his reaction.
That seems to be the only sport over there, if I'm not mistaken, where they really get behind it, where everybody's a fan.
What about when the Jaguars go over
we've
there?
got 4 or 5 sports like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've only got soccer, that's it? It's the only thing they really are diehard about?
Pretty much. A little cricket action. But yeah, mostly just soccer.
Rugby? Do they do rugby over there?
I'm sure they do,
I think they
but not
do it,
to-
but not like it's a huge thing.
Right.
No, I think it's soccer, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But they have so many leagues, too. Like, it's not just like having the one NFL. They have, and I guess there's the XFL, but like, you have a bunch of different leagues. Like, every little town has their own club. Yeah. So that's why you get behind. They play all year.
Okay. All right.
Not during school year or anything.
Guys who like soccer can't carry their 9 irons 120 yards. Think about it. That's from Flocky the Smurf. Jackson, that's not fair. You hit that thing at least 130.
Yeah, if I goose it. Find the face. Whatever. I'm not gonna be like the guy. I'm not gonna be like the guy who's like, it's the most popular sport in the world. Like, you guys are all idiots. Like, you want to take your shots? Feel free.
Sounds like you applied to the some people like some things and some people like other things school.
Yeah.
But you didn't play soccer, did you?
No, oh my God, so bad.
Why didn't you play if you love it so much?
Slow. I don't love it that much. I'm slow.
Flat feet,
bad with my feet, bone spur on the right foot. It's a whole thing.
As a kid, all this was going on?
Oh, you better believe it. No, it was hoop rocker, and that's about it.
Well, that doesn't go so well for flat-footed individuals either.
Not if you can shoot the rock.
Caller Ellen wants to call in, but I don't know how that would work because all members of the roster, Doug, are in here with Chairman Kurt in here with Ken vacationing in the Hamptons. And the audience mad that Maddie, after 3 hours on the show, is not back.
I got eyes on the phone bank.
636-9004 TMA. Collier and Thompson phone lines. Text in. South City Sporting Goods. Text inbox 314-881. TMA5 email in for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. And if you're looking to buy a home, is now the time? Is now the time? I don't know. I'm trying to kind of handicap this.
When everybody else zigs, you're supposed to zag.
It's game theory season in this studio. You got Jerome Powell speaking today. Doug, is that at 9 or 10?
It's one or the other.
And then I think he's going to forecast a rate cut in September. Is it better to wait or is it better to get ahead of that? I don't know. But I know this. Jeff Lottman is the guy to go through. JEFFLOTTMANN.com. Yeah, JEFFLOTTMANN.com. And he's with Compass Realty. And whether you're buying a home or selling a home, you're working with somebody who's been doing it in St. Louis now for more than 2 decades with close to $500 million in sales. And I would recommend Jeff and Compass Realty. Plus, they have the Compass Concierge Service at Jeff Lottman of Compass Realty, and you go, well, what is that? Explain it to me, and I'm more than happy to. With Compass Concierge, you can take your home buying or selling experience to the next level. Whether you're preparing to sell or you want to enhance your new space, Compass Concierge has you covered. No upfront costs. You need fresh paint, new carpet, light renovations, home staging. Compass Concierge has you covered. That sounds awfully appealing. You know that it's taken care of with one of the top real estate companies in the game. Jeff Lottman, JEFFLOTTMANN.com. Yeah, JEFFLOTTMANN.com. That's Jeff Lottman of Compass Realty.
$500 million in sales? That's selling a lot of houses.
You better believe it, Jack.
Even with houses obviously a whole lot more expensive than they used to be, that's still a huge number.
I like soccer. I can hit my 9-iron 165 yards. I also like big booty Latinas and beer. Have sex with me. Doug, that's raking.
Gosh.
I just did a DP.
I thought soccer golf was going to become a thing.
The foot golf thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they set up a hole to the left of the regular green and kick a soccer ball and try to drop. But I don't think I've ever seen anybody play it.
They used to have it at the Highlands. They used to have and they would, but it didn't take off much after that.
Tower T has that.
Really?
Tower T has, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they have a little place where you can kick a soccer ball. But I've never seen anybody do it.
Burkett is a classic soccer guy. I bet he also loves tofu and went to Coca acting camp when he was a kid. That's from Little Tommy Tribbins.
You didn't go to acting camp,
That's
did you?
funny, though. That's a good reference.
That's Little Tommy Tribbins. I mean, he's one of the best in the
He brings
game.
the heat. I never went to Coca. Certainly.
What is Coca?
It's like a performing arts center.
And there's a camp?
They would always put on camps in the summer.
Did you ever go to the Coca camp?
No.
No, I never did that. It was always basketball camp every week as a kid.
No acting camp.
No acting camp. That would have been fun, though. I would have enjoyed that. I'm not a soccer guy. Like, it's the Euros and the Copa America. Like, it's international soccer against the doldrums, and I like to watch it. Sue me.
Well, I don't know if this is great.
It's really activated the audience.
I guess I got to.
You're not happy with it, that's for sure.
Got pepper somebody. I'll take it.
With Iggy out, they
Yeah.
decided you're going to be the target.
That's right. I saw it coming.
Soccer, golf, Doug, don't be a dildo. That's from Chairman Steve in Wildwood. He's not happy with you liking soccer golf.
I didn't say I liked it. I said it was going to be a big thing about 10, 15 years ago, and I've never seen anybody do it.
Why are you so opinionated this morning? What happened to live and let live?
I don't know what happened to that.
It's a known fact that the English hate anal, a la Benedict Arnold. The entire Revolutionary War was over anal. George Washington hammered out Martha's ass on the daily. No surprise, Virgin loves the English. Doug, that's the Warson Woods wacko.
It's just not
Very
historically
pro-anal.
accurate.
Season 2 of Stupiracy is coming at you hot.
It was
hot
more
and
about taxes than anal.
The Boston Tea Party, I thought that was about anal.
Taxes.
Oh, okay.
You guys answering calls, I'm on the line. That's from Uncle Moose Knuckle. I also believe caller Ellen's calling in.
We got somebody on the line. I can't, there's no filtering. I just put them on hold.
That's a higher. That means Doug, Timmy the Tickler might just get right through.
Uncle Moose Knuckle, if you just want to roll with that.
Sure.
I only got one dub button. So.
All right, here we go, Doug. We're just putting callers right on the air. FCC will love this in the hearing.
Hey,
hello, caller.
Fellas.
Yes.
There?
Is this Moose Knuckle?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is, Doug. How are you this morning?
Well, I'm fine, but you got a lousy connection.
Well, I'm in the car driving to work, so
Okay, that's better.
If it's too lousy, you can hang up. But I just wanted to commend one of the title sponsors, Mungenast Acura. Great, great membership.
That's the best.
Great
What was your experience, Uncle Moose Knuckle?
I actually am an out-of-market listener. You guys have a very, very, very far reach here in the Midwest. Up here in Chicago, I hear your spots all the time. Heard about Peter Mungenast and the crew down there, and you know what? Decided to make a trip down there, and sure enough, had a great experience. The weight room is second to none, as Iggy might mention, even though he's not on the program. They got snacks galore.
Mm-hmm.
You know the drill. But just wanted to call in, tell everybody about the great experience over at Mungenast Acura on Manchester Road in beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Baldwin, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And just wanted to commend them for their great level of service and care that they give for the customers, and give a little shout out to the salesman that helped me out. Jack in the showroom was a great salesman, so super happy to give them a shout out.
Huh? You came all the way from Chicago to buy your car at Mungenast?
You know what, Doug? We don't have to look at it like that. I just wanted to see what this Mungenast was really all about, and sure enough, they left nothing on the table.
Well, great.
That's an awesome, what a nice little call.
No, it's surprising though, Doug. StLouisAcura.com and AltonToyota.com is where you can go. You can go ahead and handle that.
314-252-0029
or go online. It's StLouisAcura.com or AltonToyota.com. Doug Longball says this guy sounds so fat. Did you pick up?
No,
is there a way that somebody sounds fat?
I don't think so. No.
Why would somebody sound fat?
I guess
Can
if
you tell?
Get so fat that maybe you ate your way into sleep apnea, maybe, and then you You kind of sound chubby or out of
No,
breath?
Iggy's first victim says the breathing into the mic seems to... Oh, he's talking about Iggy's breathing into the mic.
Oh.
Okay. This guy screams XXL. Of course, he comments on the snacks. Choke on another Long John. That's from the
God.
Table Rock. Why?
Such a
I
nice
didn't pick.
call.
It was a nice call.
Wonderful call.
Yeah, I didn't sense any obesity.
I didn't
I just
either.
don't know how you would.
I was picking up on some jowls.
Really?
Yeah.
Some jowls. Everything he said about Munganess is absolutely true.
That's
though.
right.
It's the greatest dealership that we've ever encountered.
That is true.
That's not what I was expecting out of someone named Uncle Moose Knuckle.
No.
That's a fair read right there, Kurt.
Yeah. But it doesn't surprise me that he came from so far. They told me 6 or 8 months ago that they were like, I think, 4th in the country in the number of Acuras that they were selling. This dealership in Baldwin, Missouri, you see some mammoth dealerships in some of the bigger cities. This is not an enormous dealership that takes up 2 or 3 city blocks like some of them, and yet they're still like top 5 in the nation in the number of Acuras that they're selling.
That's what happens when you do things right, Doug.
Yeah, there's a
You
reason
better
for
believe
that.
it. Jamie
Yeah.
Burkhardt, Peter Munganess, and then in the service department, Ryan Seiberg. That's where my car is right now. Hail damage season. Doug still getting that thing taken care of. If you're interested in TMA merch, including the shirt that the chairman is wearing for the people watching on YouTube, it's available for you at tmastlshop.com. Doug, there was movement yesterday in the Long Beach port. Chairman, what's the latest?
I didn't hear about the movement. The last I heard, we were still fighting with those pesky pirates, but
Somali
alas, we will prevail.
So that means the shirts aren't here yet?
And the hats?
Yeah.
The shirts and the hats aren't here yet because the pirates are stealing some of them and the others are in a log jam up the coast of Long Beach.
This white hot merch, even the Somalis want it.
Yeah.
Let me ask the plowmaster this.
That's Joe Strauss, who was fed up with a take, it sounds like. That's my read on what was going on
I
there.
bet he was on hold waiting for and Plowboy was in the
It
mist.
sounded like it was a live event, though, doesn't it? Let me hear that again. Doesn't sound like it?
Okay, I don't know.
Let me ask the plowmaster this.
Yeah, it's not on the phone. It's definitely not on the
Interesting.
phone.
Wonder where the hell, where would he have ever gone to an event?
He
And
could've-
Plowboy was on the show starting in 2014. Joe passed away at the end of 15.
Yeah, so maybe it was at 9:20. Maybe he was just in
Wow, I
one
wonder
morning.
where the hell we would have done that.
He filled in once or twice, did he
Yeah,
not?
yes, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, but like he would never have gone to an event. I can't imagine.
Did they ever do remotes with the show he was doing with Burwell?
Yeah, but the Plowboy I don't think would have been on that. And if he would have been, there's no way in the world Strauss or Burwell would have let him talk to give a take.
They should
So I'm trying to play this out.
Could have just been a really good connection on the phone that day.
Nice.
No, but even on the best connection on the phone, I mean, the difference between like a great connection and a bad connection is
Brian Henson says he was in studio. All right, let's listen again, see if it sounds like he's in studio.
Gosh.
Let me ask the plowmaster this.
It does sound
You
like
know what? Maybe it's the 920 studio because the 920 studio was not a studio per se. It was a room that was not, Doug, again, I know not everybody's listening or watching on YouTube, but this is padding. It's acoustic padding
Sure
for
it is.
sound purposes.
Yeah.
Most studios aren't drywall, but the studio at 920, both in the Central West End and on Hampton Avenue, was drywall. So maybe that's why it sounds
And
like...
we were about 20 feet away from Hampton proper.
That's correct. That's correct.
That's where Cucky the Dwarf got stopped by the police for soliciting male prostitution.
Allegedly.
But he was the prostitute.
People are saying it was spring training. People are maybe it was spring training.
Ooh, okay, well, I'm going to hear it. Let's play one more time.
Let me ask the plowmaster this.
There does seem to be a touch of wind in the background.
Buck Swope says, and this is directly to my phone, the Strauss drop is from when he was filling in as a host in 2015.
Wow. Okay.
He
Not
would just
20.
have that information.
The swope is
does.
spoken.
Yep, that's it. That closes it, Doug.
Yeah.
That issue's been settled.
I would have loved to have seen the look on his face when either Joe or Plowsy was doing the question of the day.
Oh, I mean, he would lean over the railing and just shake his head as the players would walk by, and either producer Joe or the Plowhawk would ask the question of the day.
Who
couldn't believe what an industry in which he was working in Baltimore with Buster Olney and Ken Rosenthal. He moves to St. Louis, and you have guys asking the question of the day.
Which players absolutely hated it, and which
Yadier
ones
Molina, Chris
absolutely
Carpenter,
loved
who
it?
you would expect.
Yeah,
John Lackey wasn't a fan.
but not
Was he a
everybody.
fan of? Galway.
Plowboy like boxed out Jed Jerko from getting to the field, and I don't think he appreciated that.
There was a moment, I don't recall who did what, But Brian Bartow, Martin Kilcoyne does a wonderful Brian Bartow impression. He's been the Cardinals media relations guy, since I can remember. So that goes back into the 90s.
Yeah.
Goes, you guys might have to stop it with the thing with the questions. Your guy got a little obstructive with the players trying to get to the field today, so I don't think Mike was real happy about the question of the day today. Maybe it was that or the Chris Carpenter, Yadier Molina death stares as they walk to the field.
Look, y'all go to work, man.
Okay. At least Plowsy had to do it and not me. I would have had to quit at that point. I'm not doing that.
I had nothing to do with it, but one of my biggest regrets is that he didn't get on that bus and go to the escape room.
With Dexter Fowler. He bonded with Dexter Fowler and Carlos Martinez, two of the Cardinal fan favorites.
I would have really loved to see how that would have played out had he stepped foot on that bus.
At some point, a veteran would have said, "Who is this guy? Get the F off of here." Yeah. I believe... Yeah. I don't know what veteran would have been present at that time because there was no pools at the time. It was Fowler's first year, so that was 2017. I don't know.
Man, yeah,
I mean, Molina would have had to pop up on the bus, and he wouldn't have enjoyed it. But I think they took a couple buses there, and they were protecting where they were going like it was Secret Service. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, well, they didn't want us following them, doing fun feature stories on the players. Oh, look. Adam Wainwright escaped. They didn't want that nonsense.
Hey, Cape Cod, I want my fist to be inside of you, and I'll fish hook you with my other hand and make you tell me you love me. That's from the recovering alcoholic. I believe that's directed towards Sweet Sweet Kai.
Fish hook? That's a finger in the mouth?
No. Oh, I guess it could be. Yeah.
Any orifice, really.
In that sense. That'd be tough.
I would love a question of the day compilation for the skeleton. Denise Reyes responding to all questions with just his first name. Get me every time. Doug, that's Brian Henshin.
That can be done. Yeah, I'll put it on my dossier right now.
Look, it's on Jackson's dossier.
It's not a dossier.
I'm also putting together a compilation of athletes callers pretending to be athletes and duping the dais.
Oh, we're easily duped.
Hey, man, there's a really good one with Ryan Terrio. Where he just comes on and he's like, I want to wear Doug's underpants.
Doug, he was a Louisiana guy.
Yes, he was. Pretty good player.
Yeah. So it's on my dossier right now.
Let's see. Guys, great business plan. Say you're going to sell shirts for a nice high margin. Yeah, it was a huge margin. And then just don't get them. That's Mr. Siders, who is really not happy.
Gosh.
Chairman Kurt, you are handling the merch. What would you like to say to Mr. Siders, who's sideways with Jackson and now sideways with you?
I'm kind of tired of hearing from him.
The chairman!
And I'm going to make sure this SOB doesn't get his, actually.
Oh my God!
I'm tired of you, Siders.
Oh.
That is one hell of an idea, buddy.
Can't you just pin all this on the Pirates?
I've tried to, but
it doesn't seem to be working.
No. People are seeing through it.
They stole a couple of barrels of merch.
In Long Beach?
Well, no, off the coast of Somalia.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Holderness and Bourne do come from over there by Somalia. So
yeah, I thought so.
It's starting to make sense.
So you want to fight Mr. Siders? Jackson, you want to fight Mr. Siders. Doug, this is hot.
Siders
we got
is not
2
getting
on
a
1.
shirt. He's not getting a shirt now.
If I never get in a fight, it would be a life well lived. That's what I say.
You've never had a scrap?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Not like a real, like...
I haven't either.
Not like, two guys get in a circle and start just wailing on each other. That's never happened.
No bar brawls.
No.
I got my shirt. What's the deal? That's Steven time. So some people have gotten their shirts?
There's no way that's true.
So you're calling on Steven time?
Yeah, I appreciate Steven time coming to my defense, but I don't need him against Siders.
I'm going to waterboard KG with one of those shirts and my saliva. That's from Long Balls.
A lot of saliva.
Now we're talking.
Waterboarding.
And I see Daddy Padre is very active, and you're communicating with him about unblocking his number from the text line. So he's been blocked.
As far as I know, that's not necessarily true.
Block numbers in the text line. You can?
Yeah, but the only there was like one person.
I thought that was like the thing at KFNS.
Big Races.
And then it got Big Races got renamed by Brian Hoffman, but there were accusations that people in the midday program were blocking numbers. And then when we got over here, a bunch of people felt like it was Shawshank, and they were freed
cockroaches.
From the jail they were in, yes.
Lights came on.
Right, I don't know. I have no idea.
No, there's only been one number blocked on this here text line, and that was a number who just kept sending in Russian letters, and it's like, all right, this is clearly a
How do you even
situation.
do that with Russian letters?
You just change your alphabet on your keyboard.
You can do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Settings.
Well, don't look at me like a complete
Yeah,
idiot. I've never seen a setting.
You feel that Ledoux condescension right there? I bet you built it.
I mean, Tim Cook, I don't know how to help your iPhone. Like, come on.
So I can type in Russian if I want to.
Yeah, but be careful because if you
Jackson's going to answer the phone.
Well, yeah,
this is like in my internship in Columbia in the 90s.
I got 8,000 levers in front of me here. No, you can just But if you do that and you change your language, it could be tough to get back. Is what I'm saying. So be careful. But you can just make a keyboard.
Daddy Padre says, "Oh, trust me, ask Cam Jansen. Iggy 1,000% got me blocked on 590. LOL. They had to switch text inbox companies before I could even text again." Wow, so he contacted the head of the company, the text company.
What?
This Iggy.
This was 3 years ago, at least.
Oh, at least, yeah.
So I don't know. And he's not here. Like, what am I supposed to say? I don't know if you were blocked on there.
Well, can we see blocked numbers in the text inbox?
Sure I can.
There you go, Doug. Get this Daddy Padre freed.
So
but
he's
isn't that against the rule? I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the bet.
I think he just is not allowed to call in.
So he can text.
I think he can text. I think he can be in the YouTube chat. Hell, he can call in for all I care. But I think he was just banished from the phone lines.
You're going to piss off Ken.
Now, was there a statute of limitations on that might run out?
Didn't you say it was forever and forever's a long time?
Forever's a long, long time.
Maybe we can get a double or nothing match set up with the two of them, and
maybe he just can't call in when Iggy's here.
Makes sense.
Buck Swope would know what the terms were.
Yeah, Swope would have that.
Check your phone.
Guys, it's true on the Somali pirate situation. I saw a Somalia documentary a couple years ago, and a bunch of kids were wearing Trib City shirts. That's from Mr. Big Cream. Okay, so that is correct.
So they got those shirts as well.
Yeah, Trib City and 2001 Rams Super Bowl champion shirts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do send shirts like that over there to the impoverished nations.
Mm-hmm. Daddy Padre says he's blocked on 105.7 The Point.
That I can't help you with. Do they even have a text line?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think they take texts on the radio.
Mm.
That's your own beef, brother. I'm trying to find where.
So he's been blocked from two different radio shows.
Maybe he meant 105.7 HD2. Hell, I don't know. No, the rule was I wouldn't call in again. It's Daddy Padre. Buck Swope will let us know.
Okay.
Hell, I don't know.
I just wonder if Iggy not being here, if that rule could be relaxed for a week.
I don't think I'm in a position to make that decision, Doug.
That's got to go up to John Kiowski.
Yeah. Maybe
I'll
Iggy
shoot him
can-
an email.
Yeah, Iggy can email him that.
So seek a mattress. Hey, elevate your performance. Pure Performance is your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications, and they're known for their top quality work and outstanding customer service. I was out there, I guess, was it last week? I think it was last week. Yeah, it was last week. And met the owners and the staff. Shelby will take all of your questions and requests, and that showroom is absolutely massive with the weather now in full swing for the summer. That means one thing. It's officially Jeep and Bronco season. Pure Performance carries any accessory for your vehicle, old models to brand new. From sunshades, soft tops, trail doors to off-road gear like bumpers and light bars, Pure Performance has you covered. Pure Performance is the best place to go for replacement tires for any vehicle. They don't just sell oversized tires for your trucks and off-roading vehicles, but they also carry tires and wheels for your car, minivan, or SUV too. Now is the perfect time to spruce up your vehicle for the summer. You remember ITD being, I think, our first ever title sponsor. They're an independent tire dealer at Pure Performance. It's Pure Performance, P-U-R Performance.com, P-U-R Performance.com. And they're located in St. Charles at 3725 Harry S. Truman Boulevard in St. Charles. It's not just accessories, but also a full-service shop. At Pure Performance, you don't ever have to worry about paying for parts or services you don't need. When it comes to repairs, you can count on them to recommend only what your vehicle actually requires. 40 years now of outfitting the best-dressed vehicles in the St. Louis metropolitan area. You can trust that your prized investment is in great hands at Pure Performance. Go online at PURperformance.com. That's PurePerformance.com. Or check out the massive showroom, 3725 Harry S. Truman Boulevard in St. Charles. Pure Performance, new sponsor here on TMA, and Mark Hanna is a longtime sponsor here on TMA. Jackson, why don't you tell people about Mark Hanna, who has your portfolio up 38% year over year.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's just the kind of action you get with Mark Hanna. He's more so than that, just a really wonderful human being. And when you're talking about something like your financial future, having someone you know you can trust, someone you know who you can get on the phone with and talk to about any issues or any changes you need to make is super, super important. Your financial future is so important. The idea of like, I'll figure it out down the road, or I might have a buddy who could help me out with a couple things, bad idea. A good idea is calling Mark Hanna. It starts with a 15 to 20-minute phone call discussing your needs. He helps build you out a plan, and again, if you have to change the plan down the road, or you just have a couple questions, you can always talk to Mark Hanna. That, to me, sets him apart, the way he can communicate his message so effectively with his clients. Call Mark Hanna today.
314-889-0503, or go online at evergreenstl.com. That's Mark Hanna with Evergreen Wealth Strategies, longtime sponsor of both TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Send your emails in for our design, air, heating, cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Text in to the South City Sporting Goods text inbox 314-881-TMA5. And, of course, call in. Jackson just has to look at the phone. Is that a phone bank?
Yeah.
Collier and Thompson phone bank, 636-9004 TMA.
Caller Ellen's on the line.
Caller Ellen, let's talk it over. Doug, she's on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. Good morning, Caller Ellen.
Fellas, how's it going?
It's wonderful. How are things with you?
They're good, and I love those Mark Hanna spots. To be serious for a moment, Jackson, you could not be more correct for your younger audience. Run, don't walk to Mark Hanna. I don't use Mark Hanna personally, but I have a Mark Hanna in my life, and I started at 24.
Oh, God bless you. Wow. Tip of the cap.
Well, fortunately, my parents drummed it into me that would be the way it would be, and I'm so glad they did. But it's just incredible, and I'm not somebody, I do okay, but, I'm not rolling in it, but I'm prepared, I'm just prepared, and it's a really good feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
So
couldn't agree more.
I'm endorsing Mark Hanna without ever having met Mark Hanna, but
he's a good guy, Doug. He's a good guy.
And everybody else. Oh, absolutely. You can tell he's a good guy. Absolutely. The guy supports Jeremy Rutherford. What more do you want?
When you get connected with a financial advisor, you're almost forced to start saving.
Yeah.
Because you know that's why you're with him. And if you think, I don't have enough money to start saving, he'll find a way for you to start doing that. And if you start early enough, by the time you get to retirement age, you'll have more money than you ever dreamed that you could have.
Right. It's the habit of saving month to month, not necessarily the dollar value, because that will grow.
Percentage, baby, percentage.
That will grow with the years, but getting in the habit of saving every month is super prudent, and if you can do it, the earlier the better. And Mark Hanna will preach that to you.
No, the best thing about it, too, is just having the money automatically taken out of your check, and you don't miss it. It's like you just never see it. So it's not sort of this, oh, my gosh, I could have an extra $50 in my pocket this paycheck. You just don't see it. You just get monthly statements, and you just turn around in 5, 6, 10, in my case, 100 years, and you're like, oh, wow, there's a lot of money in there.
Next thing you know, you're 50 million liquid.
That's right, 50 million liquid.
That's me. Mm-hmm. That's why I call an AM. Oh, you're not AM anymore.
No,
what am I thinking?
We graduated.
HD2. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I've been with you guys for so long that I'm...
How long have you been listening to the program, Caller Ellen?
Honestly, since 2004.
Since the very beginning?
Yes.
Wow.
I listened when it was you and the cat and Martin, and it started with me loving Ask Tony.
Yeah.
And honestly, Tim, you did your Friday tail call in.
Yeah, Doug, just a classy segment.
Did anyone call in? No one ever did.
So we had to just call sororities' house phones.
Remains equally classy in different ways now.
Yeah.
And somehow I still giggle, even though I'm so freaking old, but it still makes me laugh. But yeah, I listened to that. I missed some because I lived in New York for a while, but I would come home and immediately like start listening again. And then the devastation of, I was listening in 2006 when everything blew up and you could tell something was wrong. I remember.
Now, what could you tell was wrong?
New
Because producer Joe was fired, and I think in fairness, producer Joe probably should have been fired. Martin quit, and then we had auditions, which included Doug, and the Cat and I co-hosted with, I would say, for real, probably about 20 people in between the time Martin quit and the end of the year. And then I met with Jason Barrett, who was the program director, thinking that I was going to make the pitch for Doug to become the new co-host with me and the Cat. And that's when I found out he had already hired a gentleman by the name of Bob Fesco, Doug. And he does mornings, I believe, in Kansas City now.
Right, and pink slip the Cat.
And then whack the Cat in the same dinner.
Tired of it.
Yep, that's it.
That guy was
So
painful.
what could you tell was wrong? Because I didn't.
Does, but
what could you tell? Well, he just does a different thing. It's totally
well,
cool.
I could tell. Yeah, exactly. No, nothing against him. It just wasn't the three of you. Well, when Martin left, obviously.
Yeah, that's probably a screaming tell.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking obvious that something had gone terribly wrong because I think it was, at least by the. I mean, what do I know about advertising revenue? But it just seemed like a wildly successful, different type of programming in St. Louis, and I think that's why I enjoyed it, even though, tail calling wasn't my favorite.
No.
But it,
Fan favorite, though.
I'm sorry. I just
niche
have
product.
to tease you about it a little bit.
And no one at No Tail ever called
That's
in.
correct.
Not once.
Yeah. Surprising that young women weren't listening to AM radio.
Yeah, I know. I was, and it's not that I was or ever was tail, but, here I was in my mid-30s listening, so I don't know what that says. But, something was off. Tim, there is, as good as you are at things like poker and you can spot things in other people, and I guess I've been listening to you long enough now that, your voice can give you away just a little bit. I mean, you can tell when Tim McKernan's up and when Tim McKernan's down a little bit. So,
Doug.
and maybe that's just me, sort of projecting. I'm not sure, but I just remember that was it felt like a grim time, and then it all went downhill. And you certainly didn't sound well when you were with
in 2007, I can recall driving to KFNS. And Doug, was I heading southbound on Big Bend?
I don't know which way you were going.
I feel like it was southbound on Big Bend, and I would make a right. And I think, was it Old Orchard? You make a right onto Old Orchard.
One of those roads.
There was Stratton's, and now it's Balkan Treat Box, if I'm not mistaken.
Delicious.
And that's where the KFNS building was, 8045 Big Bend.
by the guitar store. Yeah.
And yes, that's right. And I recall making a right there, and I would inhale and go, I got to get through the next 4 hours without losing my mind because I knew it was going to be miserable. And that was January 2007 to when I left in June 2007. That was brutal. So that probably would be obvious then, but it's interesting to me that if you can specifically recall 2006, that would be surprising to me. I suppose what was tough in 2006 was the Cat and I were working with people, some of whom we didn't really know, every other day. Doug came in and did a couple shows, and I remember talking to the Cat going, well, that's it. That's the guy. We got the guy. Nothing against the other people. It just was clear that the show was the best when Doug came in. But they wanted to go through this whole process of auditions, and in reality, I think they were going to cut costs by parting ways with the Cat, who had just signed a contract, which is why he wound up with a new bathroom, and then bring in Bob Fesco, and I think that was determined before the auditions even started. And so the auditions were, Doug, a sham? Is that fair to say?
Well, it could well have been.
I think that's the case. But Martin quit, so I don't think that was necessarily the plan. The issue was, as always, is that revenue wasn't where expenses were, and so they were losing money. But it was not because of the morning grind. And back then, KFNS actually subscribed to what I think was called Arbitron. Now it's Nielsen. And we had gotten to be third in the market in men 25 to 54, which was unheard of for KFNS. And we were actually on a bonus schedule. So even after Martin quit and they fired the cat, they still had to pay us our bonuses for the high ratings of the Morning Grind, which had been blown up with 3 of the 4 members of the show either fired in the case of the cat and producer Joe, or quit in the case of Martin. So we found that to be satisfying, that they had to peel off what was a pretty nice amount of money, actually, for bonuses. So that's unfortunate, because truly, I think if that doesn't happen, I think that station, with that ownership group specifically, I think they would have been in a different spot. But it always goes back to sales. Oh, I know that bores the audience because people don't really care about that, but that's the name of the game. Sales, 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 Doug. It's boring, but that's the engine on the train.
Sure.
Run that train on me.
I'm not what? Doug. That sounded like part of the Tail Call-In episode.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Tail Call-In. I don't remember that level. I don't remember the audition phase. I just remember Martin being gone. I remember the cat being... the cat could just sort of drop in comments here and there that led everyone to believe, like, not all is well.
Yeah, well, we weren't happy that Joe got fired. I remember that, and that was about a month and a half. And then Martin, there was an email sent when the Cardinals were playing the Mets in the NLCS, and Martin and the cat were both staying out in Queens by Shea Stadium, where Citi Field is now. And they were doing television, and the television stations for the Cat, Fox Sports Midwest, and for Martin, KTVI, Fox 2, were paying for both their airfare and their hotel, and therefore their meals, whatever their per diem is, and they had to work late at night. Those games on the East Coast, man, would go until, I don't know, you did it, I did it, they'd go until midnight. You don't get out of the ballpark after post-game on, 1 o'clock, and then you go to bed, and then you got to come in from Queens. And the CBS studios where we were doing the broadcasts were on the west side of Manhattan. And you're doing this in rush hour in New York City. Now, I'm sure if Martin and the cat could have it back, I think Martin and the cat would say, okay, we're just going to say we can't do the show. They made the decision that they're just like, we can't do this, that we're not getting paid, so they just left. And then I did the show with Chris Domino. Remember Chris Domino?
Sure.
Super talented guy, really good guy, too, and is still working in Atlanta. And I think that's what set Jason Barrett off, is that they just left. And then he sent this monster email. And I recall reading it, literally, as I was taking a cab across Times Square. I can picture it. And I looked over to my right, where that little statue is, in the red stairs. And I thought, this is going to be the end of the Morning Grind, right here. Because I know Martin well enough to know Martin is going to put up with this. And then sure enough, when we got back to St. Louis, that Monday we had a meeting, and Martin went, nuts on Barrett, and he quit, and that was really the end of the Morning Grind, October 2006. So there's some history. If anybody's interested, I don't know if people are interested, but that's what happened.
No, I'm totally interested as a long time, and especially as you're coming up on this milestone anniversary, I think it's terribly interesting. And as somebody who has listened, I honestly, because what I want when I get to the pearly gates, assuming I get to the pearly gates, is I kind of want a breakdown of my life, like how much time I spent doing X, Y, or Z. And I'm going to be horrified at the number of hours I spent listening to this program.
Oh, that is a shame. That is
I guess we can use that as a promo.
I mean, you know what I mean.
Oh.
Well, you could have been doing all this stuff to help people, but no.
Will you be going to the 20-year anniversary party, which apparently is going to be an orgy?
Yeah, it's at your Barnoff?
Oh, no. But thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we're looking for, because at this moment, the guest list is strictly men.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd hate to break that up. Yeah, I'll let all the Bills get together and have a good time.
I was going to ask you if you wanted to be my guest that night, Ellen.
Oh, look at that, Ellen. Chairman Kurt.
Oh, KG, the man with the almost beard. Very nice.
He's an emerging bull.
He
is. Thank you for the invitation.
May I join you?
Yeah, how about that? Caller Ellen, thank you for the phone call as always. Oh, do you have something else?
No,
okay.
I'm just, I was actually going to get into a big Jordan Walker thing, but I guess it'll have to wait, which is fine.
We wound up talking about that on Balloon Party yesterday. I do
Why do you
find.
think I want to talk about it again? Because it really is an interesting topic to me.
I agree. I agree that it's an interesting topic. And Doug, I don't know if you happen to read Ben Frederson's column over the weekend about the possibility of trading Jordan Walker, because that would be a commodity and probably one of the only commodities that the Cardinals would be comfortable trading. Possibly, maybe they're not comfortable. By the way. But I don't think they're going to trade any of the young pitchers who are starting to emerge in the organization, not necessarily major league ready, but making their way up through the organization. I'd be surprised if they wanted to trade them, but I think they may be more apt to trade Walker if they really want to take a shot this year. And the thing that I was saying on Balloon Party that I did want to discuss here on TMA today is, for me growing up in the 1980s, and then even really up until a few years ago, my idea of what a championship team is I think different than what a championship team is in 2024. Because when the Cardinals went to the playoffs in the 1980s, that meant they were one of the two best teams, most likely, in the National League, because only two teams were there, and you were 3 or 4 wins when they changed the format away from playing for the World Series. And now, I think the Diamondbacks won 83 last year. When the Cardinals won the World Series in 2006, they won 83. And so being a great team that can win a World Series is not necessarily what it was for most of my life, especially as a baseball fan. And it truly is about getting hot. It's different for the most part in the NFL. It's different big time in the NBA. It can happen a lot in the NHL. We've seen 8 seeds win cups and get to the Stanley Cup Finals. But in baseball so far, since they've expanded the playoff format to 6 teams, the 2 teams that have represented the National League are both the 6 seeds. And so even though the Cardinals, to me, are clearly not the Phillies or the Dodgers, if the mindset is Jordan Walker can get you the second piece of a 2-headed monster for the playoffs and those short series like the Phillies have had with Nola and Wheeler, do you make a move trading Jordan Walker away, because that would be the piece the Cardinals have that an organization would give you a 1 or 2 starter in exchange for? Can they win a series with Miles Mikolas or Kyle Gibson? Sure. But how likely is it, and would the organization be comfortable risking trading away a 21, 22-year-old former blue-chip prospect in exchange for that shot at winning what most likely is going to be a best-of-3 series, because it's less likely that the Cardinals are going to win enough to be there with the Phillies and Dodgers. It could happen. That means they have to track down the Brewers, win the Central, and then pass either the Dodgers or Phillies. And if they don't, then they've got that best-of-3 crapshoot thing. And do you want to risk? There's your risk of Jordan Walker. So that's to me, that's crystallizing the question. What do you think? Hello?
Oh, I thought you were talking to
me.
I'm talking to Doug. I mean, no disrespect to you, Ellen, but I'm asking Doug.
Thank you. Well, I'll throw in my 2 cents because it'll be shorter and not as learned as Doug.
Learned.
Bang the gong, Doug.
Doug, you're learned.
Oh, yeah, I'll
go on yourself, fella.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. So my question is, this is what sort of had me all screwed up about this yesterday. The Cardinals are so bad at talent evaluation that I don't have any confidence that maybe Jordan Walker isn't as good as advertised, or he's going to go somewhere else and become great. So there's something wrong with the talent evaluation or with being able to get the best out of these players, because these seemingly average people go off to other organizations and come alive and become really good players.
That, to me, I mean, there's certainly the evaluation thing, but I think the development or lack thereof has become more damning here in recent years than evaluation. So I agree with you. Of course, it's not an either or.
It's a both. Not using. Yeah, no.
I personally, for the record, would not trade Jordan Walker. For the record, I would not trade Jordan Walker. This team, of course, can win the World Series. I think the way that it's set up, a lot of teams can win the World Series. But it's just such a crapshoot that to risk that commodity at this point for this team, I'm not comfortable with it. But I do think the discussion is warranted, because other than him, I'm not sure they have somebody that they'd be comfortable with trading. I want to emphasize that. They have players who they could trade, but they'd be comfortable with trading because if they see him as a declining asset who they can still get value for, i.e. Alan Craig a decade ago, then they make the move. But I'm just not sold that he's done. I mean, he's so damn young, and it's not like he came up here and was a complete bust. He just wasn't doing what they wanted him to do, and I think that might have screwed him up, you know?
No, I think that I'll hang up after this. But I think the crux of my question is, if the Cardinals aren't going to be able to get anything out of him because of development or whatever, so in other words, he is going to continue to be poor to middling because he's in our organization, and it does seem like we do better developing pitchers than we do definitely outfielders. Then what good is it going to do us to have this guy? Because we can't seem to develop outfielders or to make them play well when they are wearing the Cardinal uniform. So why are we holding on to somebody who currently in this organization doesn't seem to have a chance to be good? And I know that's really simplistic, but the track record is so long. So, and I'm not even talking about this year and the playoffs and your whole strategy behind that, which is all valid, but it's just, what's the point of keeping somebody if they don't seem to be able to get out of the person what they think the person's worth? That's kind of my acid test question.
Caller Ellen, thank you so much for the call, and it is a topic worth discussing. Caller Ellen on the Collier and Thompson phone lines. You can call in 636-9004-TMA. Text in your thoughts, 314-881-TMA5. South City Sporting Goods text inbox and email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today as we're in the Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. We got to get Ed in. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Doug, while we're getting him, what do you think about that?
Ed will have some thoughts, too. I think they probably would move him for the right deal just because so many of the other players on the team are so old. The key players, the pitching staff is old. The first and third basemen are baseball old, mid to late 30s. If you don't go for it this year, it's not going to get better next year and the year after. If you can get a solid starting pitcher and maybe even a quality right-handed hitting outfielder for Walker, I think at this point, maybe you pull the trigger and do that. He's in his third year of professional baseball right now. It doesn't look like he's going to be the guy that hits 500-foot home runs like they thought maybe he was going to be. Maybe he'll turn into that.
He's only 20. He just turned 22.
You just don't know. Mason Wynn last year, a lot of us looked at him and said, this guy can't hit Major League pitching. Now he's a borderline all-star. Alec Burleson, a lot of people thought, just a guy. He looks like the best hitter on the team right now. You just don't know. It's hard. Whatever you do, there are just no guarantees. We thought Colby Rasmus was going to be a superstar. Never got there.
For the record, his stats as the moment, 217 at-bats in Memphis this year. He is hitting .244, OPS of .686, and he has 4 home runs. His minor league baseball career stats, he has 41 home runs. His major league stats from last year, he had 16 home runs. So, I mean, there is a precipitous power decline for whatever reason.
It's kind of surprising. Hello, Ed. We should welcome you.
No. I'm already fascinated by the Jordan Walker talk.
Yeah, what do you think?
You know, I don't know that he's in perfect health. You never know that. You never know if somebody's struggling with something. You also don't know if they're working on anything in particular. I mean, you're back in the minors. You know, he's probably working with hitting coaches that are trying to probably work through systematically challenges that he was having. And it could be that if they're playing with his swing or the angle of his swing, that might impact his power. It's hard to know what he's doing down there, if he's in sort of that learning, trying different things mode, or if they're just having him go up there hoping that his groove comes back naturally. There's really no great explanation, though, as to why there would be that kind of a decline, unless it's just a crisis of confidence, which could easily happen when the world tells you that you're great or you're going to be great, you're going to be special, and then you come up and you struggle. You know, everybody's going to react to something like that differently.
The thing about Jordan Walker, and I realize you have to kind of go back 15 months here, is that he wasn't terrible, and he got sent down.
Yeah.
His results were a lot of base hits, but it went back to this launch angle thing, which if you're talking to somebody
who's an older baseball fan, that would drive him up the wall. And so when they had him change, that's when he started to fall off. And then he went to Memphis, and he came back, and he was fine. Again, he didn't live up to the what you thought it was going to be in his rookie season. But then to send him back down, and now the fact that performance-wise he's struggling at Memphis. I mean, this is right. You look at this and go, this is a middle-of-the-road prospect. Hard to believe that at spring training last year, he was the talk of baseball.
Right.
And now he's in this spot. So then it gets into, so you can talk Jordan Walker and the evaluation of what he is, but to me the more fascinating conversation is you have a team in a division that most likely is going to be a middling division, and you can win the division. I mean, they're only 4.5 games back in this division. So if you want to take a step to get whatever pitcher it would be, maybe right-handed bat, I'm not sure who that would be, but whatever, Jordan Walker could be the kind of prospect that an organization like whomever that is out of it this year would go, yeah, let's take a shot on that, and we'll part with this guy.
Yeah, but how much would they give for it, though? That's the thing. Is I think
how much
people
would who give?
These other organizations. I think sure you look at him now and you take a flyer on him, but I don't think you give anything of blue chip
I disagree
value
with you on that. I think
really. What do you give me an idea of what you think they could get for him?
Any name I honestly don't know because I don't know
like
who's
position
in play.
wise, do you think he's the equivalent of a number 4 pitcher?
No, I think they could get a 1 or 2 for him. I absolutely do.
Really?
I absolutely do. And for the record, I wouldn't make the move. I would not part ways with him. But I do think he's got that kind of value. Yeah, because he just turned 22 on May 22nd. To part ways with a guy.
Well, I wouldn't. Let me say this: I wouldn't part ways with him. I think that there's way too much pressure in baseball to assume that top prospects immediately perform.
Right.
You know, you have the fellow in Milwaukee, that Jackson Churio. They committed to him before the season started. They locked him into a long-term deal, biggest deal ever given to somebody who had never played a major league game, and he's doing okay, not great. Certainly, he's not doing any better than Jordan Walker did last year, but you get the sense with Milwaukee, even though they are tops in the division, they're sticking with the guy. They're just going to be patient, and they're going to let him do it, but they also didn't put the enormous amount of pressure on him that, quite frankly, St. Louis put on Jordan Walker last year.
Yeah. I think the only way you get a number 1 or 2 pitcher is if it's a team like Oakland who knows they're not going to be able to afford this 1 or 2 pitcher and is going to get as much as they can for the future. You're not going to get any kind of contenders, number 1
but
or 2 pitchers.
Do they have anybody over there?
I mean, what, J.P. Sears at best? I mean, that's the one guy.
I actually like Sears. I think he came out of the Yankee system, and I got a chance to see him pitch before he went to, I think he went to Seattle at one point, and now he's with the A's.
The weird thing is,
he's a good arm.
In the National League, you only have, I mean, God, 3 teams that would be considered out of it. I don't know. It depends what you consider out of it. Everybody is within 5.5 games of a playoff spot, with the exception of the Marlins and Rockies in the National League. I mean, how? Yeah. I mean, that's insanity. There are 6 teams in the American League that are beyond 5.5 games out, for the record. That is the Rangers, Tigers, Blue Jays, Angels, A's, and White Sox. So if you want to look at it as that is your cutoff spot, and I've just arbitrarily set it at 5.5 games.
Yeah, well, I can't. And you can't count the Rangers out because they just got key pieces back on the team. Scherzer just came back recently.
And they rattle off 4 wins in a row.
Yeah, and you know, they're in a division that there's been a lot of volatility there. I mean, the Astros, not that I ever counted them out, and most people who know baseball would have never counted them out, but you look at them 6 weeks ago, and they were so in the toilet, you'd have thought, well, there go the Astros. Their run is done. And I think as of this morning, they were only maybe 2 games out of first place.
2.
So all of a sudden, it's the Astros will be in first place, as always, by the time we get to the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the case of the Astros, they are 2 back, and the Rangers are not just 5.5 back of a wild card, they're also 5.5 back of their division, trailing the Mariners. So that's a different deal when you've got both those spots.
You got 2 opportunities.
Right, exactly, in addition to the 3 wild card spots.
The fear with Walker is that he goes somewhere else and becomes the next Aaron Judge. And the Cardinals just would never live it down.
Yeah, now let me ask you this. I'll tell you now, if you really could get a good pitcher, what do you think of that Crochet from the White Sox? He's come out of nowhere. He's been pretty dominant. And they are one of those teams that has no chance this year.
They knew it going into the season. 41 games below 500.
Is that a guy that you would consider worthy a trade piece in a Walker deal?
Sure. I just would never make them. I think it's.
I think he leads.
Under no circumstances you would not trade him?
How many times have they, like, we talk about the development of the outfielders, so often it's just they give up just a little too early.
I know.
And you got a guy like that who's so talented, and I get what you're saying, Doug, where the window is short with the guy's age, but just because this window is short doesn't mean it's the window to go win a championship. And if you leverage that, I mean, Jordan Walker won't be a free agent until 2030. Having that much control of a guy with potential through the roof.
Exactly. And it's the kind of control that if he's not performing well, those arbitration years become very inexpensive.
Right, and you're still waiting on the big...
Exactly. You have time to be patient with him, and it's not really going to cost you any money. It may cost you some opportunity, but it's not going to cost you money. And, of course, the only way he's going to make a lot of money in arbitration is if he starts performing extremely well. Right. At the major league level, in which case, then you're just happy to have him performing well.
For the record, with regard to Garrett Crochet of the White Sox, which you have to probably either be a daily fantasy sports guy or a fantasy baseball player to be that familiar with him this year, he has allowed more than 2 earned runs just once since April 29th. And
look at his strikeouts per inning.
And that was 3 earned runs against the Houston Astros on June 19th. Other than that, it's been 2 earned runs and a lot of 1 earned runs or 0 earned runs in his start. I mean,
he leads the major leagues in strikeouts.
And I was about to get into the swing and miss rate. I mean, he had 56 Ks just in the month of June alone.
Yeah. I mean, he's sort of like what you're...
went straight to the majors from the draft. You know, he never played in the pitch in the minors.
Which is, I didn't know that.
That's how good Crochet was as a prospect.
Well, then it sounds like they wouldn't consider flipping him for Jordan Walker. But considering that...
25 2 weeks ago.
I mean, a 25-year-old pitcher that never even had a pitch in the minors. So you know, and he's a lefty. You know he's going to have that arm for a while, and he's dominant because you can tell from the swing and misses. Like, is that good enough for you? Would you take that deal? I mean, he can help you today.
I would certainly take an ace pitcher over an outfielder every day of the week. You'd probably have to give him more than Jordan Walker to get him, because this is a guy that's proven it. He's at the very top of the major leagues, and Walker's struggling in the minors. That's not a one-on-one trade.
You know, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, but Tim didn't want to trade him at all. But would you do that deal?
So I look at things through the lens of probability, which can be incredibly boring, but it's very analytical.
Sure.
And so to me, the Cardinals are, I don't know, let me ask you this. What percentage would you give that the Cardinals are one of the top 2 seeds in the National League?
Zero.
Really? I would go like 8%.
The top 2 seeds, it's impossible, because the Dodgers and Phillies are going to be the top 2 seeds.
So I agree with you there. I don't know if I'm on the 0%, but either way, we both agree it's a very low. You're a 0, very low. So therefore, what you are doing, and this really just kind of simplifies the discussion, is you are trading Jordan Walker for the best of 3 series.
Okay, but hold on a second. Let's look at last year's World Series. Going into that playoffs, you would not have put the Rangers 1 or 2 in the American League. You would not have put the Diamondbacks 1 or 2 in the National League.
They were 6, and the Phillies were 6 in 2022. Right. I get it. I understand that.
But then why is it so important that they be 1 or 2 if 1 or 2 is not a predictor for the World Series?
Listen, I completely understand, but I'm telling you that there's that portion of the conversation which I think is so important for baseball. And I think as time goes on, it's going to become a bigger issue. Brian Snitker talked about it. You get rewarded, quote unquote, by getting a bye, and the bye has proven to be problematic for teams, whether it be a bye or, as we saw with the 2006 Tigers, when they played the Cardinals, they had to sit for a week and they played like garbage. It's a problem in baseball. The All-Star break, everybody has to sit around for 5 days.
Yeah.
Different deal when certain teams are not. But hold on a second. With the best of 3, that's super crapshoot. You know, I mean, take your pick of whatever series. Anybody could beat anybody in a best of 3. And so from my standpoint, to risk a 22-year-old guy who was a #1 prospect 15 months ago on that best of 3, to me, strikes me as a fool's errand. So that's my reasoning for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, you can't argue with that. You can raise some thoughts on the other side of it. I can say that Look at Victor Robles. You know, he a few years ago, he was in the exact same situation. He was the top prospect in the game. He was an outfielder that was going to have power and speed. A lot of these guys simply, they don't ultimately develop. I hope that that's not the case for Jordan Walker, whether it's in St. Louis or elsewhere. I root for everybody because I know that these aren't just their careers. Like, people are living out their dreams, and I tend to root for people to succeed in their quest for their dream, unless they prove themselves to be kind of jerky. But, again, it is, yes, the layoff has proven to be a problem, but everyone sees that, and their first reaction is, okay, well, how does baseball fix that problem? Well, we need to have fewer teams or a quicker round.
Which is not going to happen because it's going to reduce revenue.
But it's also not the right thing to do. Maybe the thing is that teams need to understand how to prepare better when they know they're going to have a layoff. Instead of telling your guys, hey, great, everybody can take 2 days, enjoy, spend with your family, get your head out of the game, and be back on Thursday for batting practice. But it may be that they can't. Maybe they have to start saying, you know what? We need to do mock games in between. We need to keep our pitchers sharp. I mean, it may be that they're not preparing properly for a layoff, and that's on them.
So that is what Snitker, if memory serves, specifically did last year, because they had to wait for the Phillies, who once again won, even though they didn't win their division, and the Braves were the 1 seed. So the Braves played games amongst themselves for that entire time, and they still lost in 4 games to the Phillies.
Well,
so my issue isn't just the best of 3, it also is a best of 5, which baseball determined in the 1980s was not a fair test, which was why they expanded the LCSs to a best of 7. The Cardinals swept the Braves in 82. They beat the Dodgers in 6 in 85, and then the Giants in 7 and 87, and they've changed the format. And I understand why, because it keeps every damn team in baseball, almost in the National League anyway, -2, quote, in the race. But this is the only sport that has 162 games, and what my complaint is, it's devalued the success of being the champion of the marathon, and then it's changed determining the champion into not even a sprint. It's like a 10-yard dash. And so the format of being successful in the regular season is completely different than the format for determining the champion in the postseason. And so for me, as a guy who grew up in the 1980s, similar to you, and you saw some incredible teams in New York, albeit they were more the Mets then, and I saw some great teams in St. Louis in 82, 85, and 87. If you won your division in 82, 85, 87, you were 3 wins in 82, 4 wins in 85 and 87 from playing from the World Series. You were a hell of a baseball team. But in St. Louis, we saw an 83 team win a World Series in 2006. And around baseball, National League-wise, we've seen the 6 seeds win the last 2 years since they've had this format. Point being, it's created a system that I think what is a championship caliber team is much different in 2024 than what it was with what I grew up with, which is fine, but therefore my analysis of whether a team can win a championship is different. And what I'm seeing is these teams usually have a Nola Wheeler kind of tandem, the Diamondbacks with Gallen. Last year, who was the star on the Rangers? That Montgomery certainly.
Nate Eovaldi.
That's right. Yeah. So you have these kind of two-headed monsters that can get you through these very short series. So it's changed the mindset of what the postseason was all the way up until just a couple of years ago.
Well, and arguably that's why the Oakland A's Moneyball teams were never as successful in the playoffs as they were in the regular season.
What's the theory behind that?
Well, because Moneyball works on a mathematical theory, and for math to be accurate requires a large sample size. So if you know that someone's going to get on a certain number of times at 100 at-bats, that's great. But if they're only going to get 10 at-bats, you're not going to necessarily get those same percentages. You would over 100, but not necessarily over 10. So over a 162-game schedule, you can rely on the large numbers, the mathematics playing out. In a short series, the math doesn't really factor in because there's just not large enough sample size of any particular thing that's going to happen in just 3 or 4 or 5 games. Well, remember, too, though, that's the era we lived in. You go back before 1969, you didn't have any playoffs.
You won the pennant by winning your division.
You won the pennant, and you did it. Okay, so the upside of that was you truly had the best team from each division going head-to-head, and arguably that meant whoever won was truly the best team. The downside was you had the same teams winning every year. I mean, during the era before divisional play, the Yankees won most of their titles. If you were dominant like that, you went on. And 1969, they moved to the four divisional series. And I'm sure people complained about that and said, well, now you have a team that wasn't as good as the top, and the number 2 team can advance. Then they moved on and added more teams on from there. But at least we have parity. At least you have more teams right now starting out a season saying we don't have to be we don't have to have the biggest payroll. We don't have to have the biggest star in the game. Think of the other sports. A lot of the other sports, like basketball, if you've got the biggest star in the game or 1 or 2 of the biggest stars, it's a good chance you're going to go very, very far in the season. You know that on day one, just because of the virtue of having a big star. Not true in baseball. In baseball, you look back on the Mariners of the late 90s. They had the best offensive infielder in baseball in A-Rod. They had the best offensive outfielder in Griffey. They had the best pitcher in baseball in Randy Johnson. And they had the best DH in baseball at the time in Edgar Martinez, Hall of Famer. And they couldn't even get to a World Series. And they had the best of every single thing that you can have on there, and they couldn't even get there. That's the nature of baseball. It just takes a lot more for an organization to get to the top of the mountain. It's a harder path. You got to get contributions through your entire lineup and through the fill-ins that come in through your minor league system through the year. There's no other sport where the trade deadline has any real significance. When did you really see in any other sport some midseason acquisition? And it happens once in a while, and I think the Panthers actually picked up a guy that made a difference this year. But generally, that's not the case. Whereas in baseball, you can go season by season, and you can always find situations where a particular key trade midseason changed the trajectory of a team for the rest of the way. I just think it's constructed very differently, and every move they make adds something to the game, but also takes something away from the game.
So my premise, and I don't dispute any of that, but my premise is the baseball postseason is now a crapshoot. And so if that is the case, and I think you would agree, do you agree that it's a crapshoot, or do you not see it that way?
I think that a crapshoot is probably a little too dramatic in making the point. I would say that there is everyone has a shot in the baseball playoffs. I don't think they all have an equal shot. I don't think it's a crapshoot where people would have an equal shot, but I do think that all the teams that get in could get hot at the right time and at least have a shot.
Sure. For example, in 2022, I remember looking at the National League playoffs, and I go, well, the one team I just don't see has any chance at the Phillies. Right. And then, of course, it becomes the Phillies who win the National League.
And that's where baseball gets to have Cinderella stories, and people love Cinderella stories. People love rooting for underdogs. People like to see the unexpected heroes. Like every one of those storylines is a form of drama that makes baseball interesting, because while it may be more fair to say that if we do it one way, at least it's just that the team that we thought was the best actually gets a title. They could also argue that that's a little bit on the boring side. If every year that's what happened, what would how would we feel about the game at that point? I mean, I don't think that we'd feel that good. I think part of why we like it is the fact that you might have a team get hot. You might have a Cinderella.
So I would say I disagree with that premise also. I think the Cinderella devalues the regular season. It's why I personally am not as big of a college basketball fan, because it just gets you can go undefeated in the regular season.
So you're saying in your soul, in your gut, like when you see a team that you don't think is deserving, but they're playing above their heads, they're playing magically, they're getting contributions from no names, and this is their biggest moment maybe in their career because they weren't the top paid player or the highest prospect, and you're saying in your gut you root against those guys?
I don't care, is what I say.
Really?
I don't watch it, and the country agrees with me. 4 of the last 5 World Series have been the 4 least viewed World Series in baseball history, and the Cinderella Diamondbacks got a 9.082 million average rating last year for the lowest rated World Series in history.
Listen, is that
2020s was the second lowest, 2021s was the third lowest.
Is that how we judge? Is that how we judge?
Well, if you're talking about people's interest, then yes, it absolutely is.
Well, but
what other metric would you utilize?
Well, when you're talking about the quality of something, okay, is just public opinion. If I asked you, then why don't we give the Oscar for Best Picture to whatever movie made the most money at the box office?
Well, because this is a competition on the field in which there is not an arbitrary judgment. This is actual data. So 4 of the 5 World Series in which you've had teams that are random getting in there versus what it was before, where people want to see, my God, can you imagine whether it be the Phillies or Dodgers going up against whoever you consider to be the best team in the American League?
I would suggest
as
to you,
opposed to whoever gets hot and wins a best of 3.
But what about the people that actually did watch the games? How do they feel about what they saw in terms of competitive baseball versus what they might have seen if it was just simply some giant of the game, beating up on some other? In other words, the people that actually love baseball and watch those games, the last 4 World Series, the last 4 playoffs they were all amazing. They were phenomenally dramatic. They were exciting as anything you could have wanted. Even in the shortened year, the COVID year, that particular playoff run, that year that ended, I think, with the Dodgers winning over the Devil Rays, or I guess they're just the Rays now, was one of the most exciting playoff runs that I can ever remember. So, but the ratings may not have been as high because on paper it wasn't as sexy. People look in the paper for the movies and they say, "Oh, the Avengers. Oh, I love the Avengers. Those are exciting movies." So then they decide ahead of time that they're going to spend their money on it. Then maybe they read the plot to something like Everything Everywhere All at Once, and they think, "Well, that doesn't really interest me." But you can't talk to them. They made all of their judgments based on what they thought was going to happen, what they thought it was going to be like. I would rather take the opinion of the people who actually then went and saw it, watched it, sat through it. What did they think about what they just saw? Because clearly the people that saw Everything Everywhere All at Once or whatever, they won Best Picture. My point is that judging it after the fact and saying, were you entertained by that? Was that exciting baseball? Was that something you would want to watch again? And I don't care. You go through those last series, I would watch any one of those again. They were exciting contests.
You and I are both baseball fans. And so we enjoy watching the game. But what the data speaks to is the public is seeing it as, for whatever reason, not attractive. For whatever reason. I don't know, but that's what the data says. And as far as the highest rated ones, I would say that's apples and oranges, and it's not necessarily fair because you're going back to a time of, channels that were 3 or 4 in a television set. You're going back to 1970s and 1980s. Those are the most viewed World Series.
But ratings are premised on what people think is going to happen, not what actually happened, because they're making the decision to watch or not watch before the thing has started. If it were a movie, you've heard of this, there are movies that when they start off, they don't start off hot. They got to create buzz. And once everybody talks it up and says, "Have you seen such and such?" It's fabulous. You got to go see it. TV shows happen too. Not everybody jumped on a show like Ted Lasso the day that it came on, or the first few episodes. Once buzz got created that something special was happening on television, then everybody went back and watched it and said, "Yes, you know what? That might have been one of the greatest shows in history. That was magic." You don't get the opportunity to do that in sport. People are making the decision ahead of time whether they're going to tune in or not based on whatever criteria they have. Maybe it's not a city that they're interested in. Maybe they just are interested in seeing players they've heard of. It's not because they have some predictive ability as to the level of quality we're going to see on the field. It's just they're making their decision based on whatever. But if you find out after the fact, of a Super Bowl or whatever it may be, because you could make the same argument in football, if you know after the fact that was one of the greatest games in history, there's probably a lot of people that would have been like, "You know what, I wish I would have tuned in. If I'd have known it was going to be that good, I would have watched it."
I, again, respectfully disagree that you can make the same argument in football because you're playing now 17 games. And it's my issue is baseball's the thing that I fell in love with. And hey, listen, if everybody's still on board, God bless America. To each their own. Doesn't affect me if people still are as enthused about it. But for me, what I loved was you survived this marathon of 162 games that come with injuries and ups and downs and streaks and whatever crap goes on in clubhouses, and now you're on the threshold of the championship. Whereas this has become the NCAA college basketball tournament, where we're just going to let in close to half the teams, 12 of the 30 teams, and then we're just going to have a best of 3, too, for division winners. I mean, there's absolutely zero significance to winning a division. Well, you can make a case there's a penalty with the bye, but the 2 National League Central winners, since they've had this format, have not won a game yet. The Cardinals in 2022 and the Brewers in 2023.
Well, let me ask, and let me make it clear, too, to the listeners that I'm not stating my actual personal belief. I'm articulating the other way of looking at this so that, people have an opportunity to hear varying perspectives instead of just one. So I always make that clear, because as a lawyer, we do that all the time. It's our job to articulate a position, whether we share that position, or not. So that's to say I don't agree with everything I'm saying, but I do respect what I'm saying as a valid viewpoint, and I've heard others articulate it, and I have to acknowledge it. Now, that said, I think that now that we're at a place where we have a balanced schedule, everybody's playing everybody else, or a reasonably same number of games, why have divisions at all?
I think you can make an absolutely valid case for that.
I mean, you could just have... Why even have leagues? You could technically just have 30 teams playing, and you can decide that the top 4 teams are going to play a power-protected playoff format where seed 1 plays seed 4 out of 7. Seed 2 and 3 play 4 out of 7, and the winners play in the World Series.
I could live with that a hell of a lot more than what they have
now. As crazy as it sounds, it actually solves a lot of the original problems, and the reason why people wanted divisions and they wanted to have wild cards is you kept having situations where, go back to 1985 in the American League East. The Yankees win 99 games that year, and they go golfing because the Toronto Blue Jays happen to win more. You go back to 1978, Yankees and Red Sox find themselves in that one-game play-in. Both of those teams had better records than everybody else in baseball, but only one of them was even going to get into the playoffs because they happened to be in the same division. So people didn't like the idea that you might have another team in another division win the division on 91 games, and then you have somebody in your division with 99. They don't get to do anything. They were trying to remedy that.
If you recall, 93, I think it might have been the Giants and Braves went down to the final day of the season, and the Giants had a crap load of wins, but only the one would get in, and it wound up, it had to be the Braves.
Yeah,
they wanted to lose into the Phillies.
So that's like the underlying problem. So you could do 162 games. You could just have no divisions.
I don't know the value of divisions. Divisions were a byproduct of geography, which, of course, at this point is outdated.
Right, yeah. There was all, simplifying travel schedules and trying to make it so that within a city you didn't have 2 teams within one division. But, I wouldn't have a problem with them getting rid of the divisions, just going 1 to 30. The only problem with that is psychologically, if you see that your team is in 27th place, you might lose interest and stop watching.
Which is what I think the root of all of this is about. And hey, I understand,
makes the teams feel like they're doing better.
I get it. It keeps a bunch of teams in it. I understand that. But for me, one of the things that again, this is an individual thing. If people love it, and I'm the one person, hey, God bless America. But for me, I think 2022 was, because the Cardinals in 2022 were a really good baseball team. They were a really good baseball team. But I think if you ask somebody about the 2022 Cardinals, they go, yeah, they got knocked out of the playoffs, and they bitch about Marmol or Helsley or whatever it was, Goldschmidt or Arenado not hitting, whatever it was, I don't know, and not recall that was a great team. And I'm like, they won their division, 90-plus games, but they had to play a best of 3.
Am I remembering that wrong? Was that Pujols' last season?
That was Pujols' last
season. Yeah, all I'm going to remember from that is the last 2 months of the year.
As far as an individual, absolutely.
The magic of that.
It was a great year. And the Cardinals, I thought, made some shrewd deadline moves in 2022 as well, with both Quintana and Jordan Montgomery. So I love the 2022 Cardinals. They win their division, but they play a best of 3, and they're gone. And you just go, what in the hell is this? And they lose to a team that's a 6 seed.
Okay, but if they hadn't, if the format didn't exist, they wouldn't have even tried to make those great moves that you said that they made.
No, they were leading the division. They weren't the wild card. They won the division.
They weren't leading the division. The Brewers were.
Well, they got in as the division winner. The Brewers actually made the trade of Josh Hader, that blew their operation.
Yeah, well, I still can't figure that one out.
I have no idea what was
I would love for them to go back and now, in hindsight, maybe after the passage of time, try to explain what the heck went on over there.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a fascinating discussion.
Yeah, it gets because the reason I'm sitting here is I loved the game of baseball.
Yeah,
I love the Blues. I had the football Cardinals as a kid growing up, but they were pretty much irrelevant. They were gone by the time I was 10. So for me to see baseball's postseason, and then also to an extent the regular season, just be this. And I loved college basketball also growing up as a Missouri fan. We had football, but they were dreadful. So I loved college basketball. But what I don't like about college basketball is the regular season is devalued because it's all about the tournament. Now, that's been going on for a long time. Baseball, though, is entering this phase. I think hockey fans, and I know I love the Stanley Cup playoffs. That is in the crapshoot category. NBA was in a rare spot, 2 seasons ago, where you had the 8-seed Heat against who'd they wind up playing?
Denver Nuggets, but that same exact Heat team was the number 1 seed the year before. They just had injuries to the regular season.
Right. But so I personally like that a team that kills it throughout a regular season is in the championship against the other team, ideally, that kills it throughout the regular season. I like that. Again, this is a preference.
I know, but you say that because you're envisioning a dominant team in each league and a great series. But what if you only have a dominant team in one league and the other league has a mediocre one, and there were 2 other dominant teams in the same league as the main dominant?
I understand.
Wouldn't you rather see that?
I'm just not a results-oriented person. It's just not the way that I work. I view it as you have 100. I know what I know, which is 162 games are going to be played. And if you won 100-plus games and another team won 100-plus games or therein, the fact that a team that won 17 less games, that's why I think it kind of sucks. I'm happy that it happened as a fan, but the Cardinals had some great teams. 2000, 2001, 2002. 2001 wasn't a great team, but they wound up being, after the trade deadline, a super successful team. 2002, 2004,
well, 2004 was their best team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was the 2006 team that won a World Series. And having a friendship and a business relationship with Jim Edmonds, he laughs about it. He goes, the funny thing is that was the worst team I was on, including the 2003 team that didn't make the playoffs. And he goes, that's the one that we won the World Series. Just shows how stupid the format is. It is what it is. I'm not complaining about that. But I don't like what they've done now with 6 teams. That's where I am. We got to go. It's 8:46, and we haven't taken a break, so I'm sorry, but we got to wrap it up.
All right, well, there's still so much to be said.
I know.
We'll save it for another week.
I'll be terminated if we don't take a break at 8:46. Ed, always enjoy the conversation. Good conversation on something that we both love. That's for sure.
And I'll leave, and you go to break, but I'm going to leave you with a question that you can come back and answer, and I'm going to tune in and listen to it. What is the smallest amount of changes that you would make that you think would fix this problem? And just think about that.
I don't follow the question.
Like the fewest changes that you could tweak on the current system that would be enough to solve this problem in your mind, to restore your mind. Don't answer it now.
Okay.
Think on it during the break.
Anything is going to cut revenue, so they'll never do it. But, if we're going to operate in an idealistic...
You see how he's throwing in the towel immediately. You have a break coming up. You have a break coming up. You're a businessman.
Yeah,
think about how...
We both are. And if Brown and Crouppen said, all right, we're going to lose, 30% of revenue.
Listen, but maybe they wouldn't. You're pointing to evidence to suggest ratings are down, and that costs them money, too. Play with it. See what you can come up with. Maybe there's a solution out there. Don't give up so quickly.
Ed, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much, Brody. Good to see you. We'll take a commercial break. This is TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen.
KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
Hey guys, this is Doug Biggs from Longo Biggs Injury Law. We became sponsors of the show because we love this show. We were listeners for years before we started sponsoring. We love coming to the events, playing in the golf tournaments, even though I got demolished in the second round of the match play. But we love sponsoring the Dotem as well, and we'll miss it this year. Hopefully it comes back next year. If you're at one of these events, you might have met us out there and you found out we're a lot like the rest of the audience. We are the audience. You get hurt in an accident, you don't just have to take our word for it, you can take Tim's. If he knows someone that gets hurt, he's going to recommend us. Check us out at longobigs.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Rosalita's Cantina is known for having the best patio and the best Tex-Mex in town. From carne con cerveza to shrimp diablo, the amazing menu at Rosalita's is full of classic Mexican dishes. Plus, it's always time for a margarita. Rosalita's has the most delicious house and specialty margs in town. Enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 and brunch at the De Pere location on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 3. Check out RosalitasCantina.com or visit the downtown or De Pere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalita's.
If you want a first-class, top-of-the-line, high-quality interior remodeling job, you know who I'm going to suggest. Collier & Thompson. Known for their kitchen and bathroom remodels, Collier & Thompson is where you go when you want your remodeling job done right the first time. Collier & Thompson doesn't just do large remodeling jobs. They do plenty of man caves, bars, offices, pretty much anything inside your home. Check out their 10,000-square-foot showroom next to Uncle Bill's Pancake House on Manchester. Let them bring your dream remodel to reality. CollierandThompson.com.
Elevate your performance. Pure Performance is your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. Known for their top quality work and outstanding customer service. It's officially Jeep and Bronco season. Pure Performance carries any accessory for your vehicle, old models to brand new. From sunshades, soft tops, trail doors, to off-road gear like bumpers and light bars, Pure Performance has you covered. Stop by the Pure Performance showroom at 3725 Harry S. Truman Boulevard in St. Charles or visit pureperformance.com. That's PURperformance.com.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circus Survivor and Circa Million are now up to a record $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win and no rake. Circus Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed through quarterly and full season payouts. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. Visit circusports.com for details.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling, and I have been a long-time Design Air client. What separates you guys from everybody else?
It's becoming more common for companies to just get their foot in the door. They try to come up with different ways to upsell. They try to see how much they can make off of a customer as opposed to, hey, we're in there to do a service. We're going to do it well. We're going to do it for a fair price.
I don't know how many emails I have received from our listeners who experienced the incredible customer service Design Air Heating and Cooling provides. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, online at designairservice.com.
Get the best at 100 West. 100 West Dental. No insurance? No problem. 100 West Dental has a plan when you don't. For ease and affordability. Feeling nervous? Not anymore. 100 West Dental provides complete comfort during quality care. Over 350 5-star reviews agree. When you want to get your smile into winning shape, get the best at 100 West. 100 West Dental. Consult virtually with Dr. Pryor or book online at 100westdental.com.
The choice of a lawyer is important and shouldn't be based on an ad.
If you're seriously hurt in an accident, you'll want all the money you deserve. That's called justice. But there wouldn't be lawyers if justice was easy. No, justice is not easy. It's fought for and it's won. At Brown & Crouppen, we fight for justice every day. If you want some, call 222-2222. Because at Brown & Crouppen, justice is our business.
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
Want to take on some legends of TMA?
Sound the same to someone who gives a damn about the best fans in baseball! Tired of it!
The show's so great. Will there be a little speaker system out behind the dumpster so in case you're servicing me, I'll be able to hear my name?
Then nominate yourself to be this month's TMA Listener of the Month. And if you win, you'll get recognition and other stuff. Sometimes all you have to do to win the prize is be a female.
All it takes is one fake girl to just throw this show completely off course.
Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information at TMASTL.com. The TMA Listener of the Month Club, quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to a brighter side of tequila with Milagro. Find out more at TMASTL.com.
It's the Brown & Crouppen Morning After.
KPN-TFM HD2.
Collinsville, St. Louis.
That's lost.
Nurse?
About to be popping some champagne. Get the Chardonnay ready high.
That's not bad.
Hours getting high. You know what
Are you prepared for 30 text messages telling you you're an awful person?
Yep.
Very rough. Send them in. 314-881-TMA5. Why is Jackson such a bad person?
Something he's got to look himself in the mirror and figure that out. I suppose the elitism led to a lot of the
I agree with that. I do too.
He just grew up differently in Ladue.
Don't have to work hard.
No, if at all.
Trust fund season.
Mm-hmm. So this job is just kind of a hobby for you? You don't need to work?
South City Sporting Goods sponsor of the text inbox. Collier and Thompson sponsor the phone line, 636-9004-TMA. We've heard from Uncle Moose Knuckle and Caller Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
And Ed Herman was in. Brown & Crouppen. He posed a question at the end of the segment as we closed out the Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota 7 o'clock hour. We're now in the IHOP 8 o'clock hour. What is the least amount of things you can do to change it? Is that what, I want to make sure I didn't foul the question. I'm talking about baseball postseason.
Kind of the quickest change you can make.
Yeah.
I guess for me it would be just increase that first playoff series.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you, Doug.
Instead of 2 out of 3, maybe 3 out of 5.
I think you go full 7 games.
7.
All right. Okay. So then, you know what?
Then it's going to go later and later into the year.
Yeah, you'd be playing in snow at some places.
Yeah, but I just maybe cut out days off. I know that's tough.
All right. But I'm not doing this to mock you at all. But I'm just like, okay, if you're playing out the hand, then the Players Association is absolutely fighting that all day long because one of the things that they use in the collective bargaining is more days off.
Yeah, but
so now you're reducing that. So now you got a problem there.
But if the ratings continue to dip, and you could say in part that's due to short playoff series, there might be a point where it's no longer like, hey, we have to do this. We kind of
respectfully, I say I don't think you can necessarily say the World Series ratings are because of the short playoff series. I think you can make a case that the fact that you're getting kind of randos in there could be contributing to it. That's a theory. I don't know that. All I have is the data in front of me. And that's the issue. I think a lot of people actually would say this: cut the regular season down.
Yeah, but that
they're not going to do that.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Because
you might be able to
remove
you might
so much
be able
revenue.
to start it a week earlier.
The season?
Yeah, and make a conscious effort to play them on the West Coast and the South where they have domes. Do everything you can to ensure a little bit better weather there at the end of March.
Yeah, it's better to do that, put it on the front end than put it on the back end where you could be playing the World Series into the second week of November.
One thing that is not happening is they will not cut down the number of playoff teams. It just won't happen.
I agree.
The players love it. The front office loves it. The ownership loves it. It's more money for everybody.
Right.
With the current economic situation of the game, where mediocre players make $15 million a year, and some teams like the Yankees, I think, are over $400 million this year in payroll, you just cannot have these teams out of the race in June or July. You can't have it and make it work.
They have a television issue that I think could actually be a beginning of a decline in salaries, which sounds just absurd, if that is not solved. And that is, to date, not solved, because that's a significant revenue pool. That's not just a cardinal issue.
And some of the declining ratings may have to do with the fact that there's so darn much on TV to watch now with the explosion of Netflix and some of these other things. There's a lot more on than just baseball now.
Yeah.
Sure,
there's a lot more on that's more compelling to a lot of people.
But 4 of the last 5 are in the last 5 years, and people have been streaming from well beyond 2020.
It doesn't seem to be hurting the NFL by these, but I get what you're saying. It's a baseball issue. And
the NFL mostly plays on Sunday afternoon, I think. And I think more people are likely to settle in front of Netflix for a movie at nighttime, I think.
Yeah,
and the older folks are just kind of people like me, just kind of getting used to all the streaming stuff. Do it a lot more than I did 4 or 5 years ago.
That's fair. Yeah, I think, and also the NFL has it's more ritualistic, like it's Sunday, so you watch football. Baseball's on every single day.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that the best way to crown a deserving champion is to reduce the number of playoff teams and just have the teams right at the top involved in the playoffs. But if you go back and look at some of the attendance figures from when that was the case, or look at some of the old video, the stadiums are empty. There's some of the Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle video out there from the 50s and 60s when they were the dominant team. There was hardly anybody there. The stadiums were shockingly empty.
Yeah. Ben Fred wrote an article this morning about the Cardinals' run differential situation.
Yeah.
And they're minus 33 as we sit right now. Last year, the Diamondbacks were at a minus 15 when they were in the World Series. They were
the run differential thing, I just really don't put a lot of stock in that. I know that's become kind of a thing as the team has played well.
Nor did Ben Fred.
Yeah, but there's
you didn't? I honestly didn't read the column
he has a lot
at the
of
moment.
Footnotes, kind of, because also in that same article, the team with the worst run differential to win the World Series is the 1987 Twins, minus 20.
There's games where teams just pack it in.
Right.
You're down 7-0 in the third
Or you have
inning.
a bullpen start,
cares?
or you got
Who
a guy
else
that
is
gets hurt or sick the morning of, and you got to throw some butt ass out there. I just don't.
Doesn't paint the full picture.
But I know that they're for those who want to say that the team's garbage or the team is bad, they use the run differential thing And I don't know. I just don't. I don't subscribe to that. That wouldn't be a point for or a point against. But obviously, there are some people who consider it. And it's not like people just fans who want to argue with each other. This is something that Ken Rosenthal, make reference to.
It's another stat for the analytic people to argue.
But at least analytic stats can give you, if you put them all together, you can kind of create a full picture. Run differential truly is just not, because the Cardinals, we know when they win, it's usually by a run or two, and when they lose, it's oftentimes they're getting shelled. So it doesn't pay. And like Benford put in the article, you can lose by 14, it's still a loss.
Yeah, right. Teams, especially the Cardinals, kind of have two separate bullpens. They got the crew that if we're going to win, we're going to throw these guys. And the crew, if we're going to lose, we're going to throw these guys.
It's a varsity JV situation.
Yeah,
although
guys
true. Like Fernandez and Roycroft are performing a little better, and guys like Kittredge and JoJo have kind of tailed. To an extent, they started so hot that you're like, well, they're kind of falling off. They're still pretty effective. But yes, they have a varsity and JV. When you see Kittredge, Romero, Helsley, you know the game has gone well.
Right.
When you don't, it's probably not the case.
in there in the fourth or fifth, maybe not.
Doug, could the ratings be down because the postseason is running deeper and deeper into ass-eating season? That's from Hoosier Daddy. Have you thought about that?
I haven't thought about that, but I know the Bachelorette comes on in the fall.
Yeah. It is tough to watch baseball.
There goes Monday nights.
Yeah, when you've got an eye full of hole.
Yeah, and Monday Night Football's on. There goes Monday nights.
Yeah, the NFL's slowly taking every night start being like, what about a Wednesday game?
I guess basketball and hockey hadn't really kicked in. Right. But school sports have. High school sports have Fridays and the weekends.
Well, hockey and basketball.
College sports have to take some of the interest away.
Hockey and basketball have started at that point. By the time the World Series
in early October,
mid-October? Late October, I'm saying. Late October, early November.
Yeah. Well, the thing for sure is they're not going to find a way to cut back on revenue from all these regular season games. They value the 6-month regular season revenue more than they do another playoff game or two.
Clearly, based on what they've done.
Yeah, but they have to. They don't have a choice in that, really, economically.
Your thoughts on the topic are welcome. 314-881-TMA5, South City Sporting Goods, text inbox. Family Golf, longtime sponsor of TMA. And if you are wanting to get work in while we are dealing with the remnants of Hurricane Beryl and rain throughout the St. Louis area, you can do so indoors on their TrackMan simulators or the safety and shelter of the double-decker driving range at Family Golf and Learning Center, a premier golfing facility for all abilities and ages, providing a friendly and encouraging practice experience for the individual or the family. It's Family Golf and Learning Center. Family Golf and Learning Center has all kinds of camps going on, as well as the Par 3 golf course. If you want to play around but short on time, their Par 3 course is the place for you. A beautiful 9-hole Par 3 golf course. I am out there quite often with my sons. It's Family Golf and Learning Center. Learn, practice, play your best golf. FamilyGolfOnline.com. Jackson, tell me where I can wager.
Oh, if you're looking to make some wagers today, you go to Circa Sports. You go across the river, you download the Circa Sports app, and then you got the world's largest sports book right in the palm of your hand. You can make so many plays, including Cardinals taking on the Royals today. Michael Wacha.
Michael Wacha, Doug.
Gosh, I would have thought he'd be 40 years old by now. Yeah, but he's actually been pretty good the last couple of years.
He's been very good. He's had a good year too over his last, I don't know how many starts, but he's been damn good.
Yeah. Cardinals are favorites in the game, minus 112. Royals are plus 102. The over-under is set at 8, so you can bet on that game with Michael Wacha facing his former team against the Cardinals. And then I talked about the soccer games. I know some people get a little worked up over it. But
yeah, you were accused of hating America.
Yeah, but today and tomorrow we got semifinals in the Euros. France taking on Spain. France is plus 210. Spain is plus 170. It's a three-way bet, though. Got Iggy once in the World Cup. England plus 155 against the Netherlands, plus 223. England to win is plus 265. And then France, who's been the international darling over the past, 7-8 years, is plus 270. They got plenty of NFL futures and college football futures, including Missouri to win the SEC championship at plus 1,700. All these plays and more available on the Circa Sports app. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
Transform your story at Illinois Recovery Center. At Illinois Recovery Center, the team believes in the strength of every individual's journey to recovery. Whether you're taking the first step or continuing your path, the IRC's dedicated team is here to support you. So why choose Illinois Recovery Center? They have a holistic healing approach, expert care and guidance, safe and welcoming environment, tailored programs for lasting recovery, and top-notch facility and accommodation. Discover the path to lasting recovery and renewal at Illinois Recovery Center, where compassionate support meets personalized care for your unique journey. Visit IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com. That's IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com, or call 888-472-9559. It's Illinois Recovery Center. Call into the program. Collier and Thompson phone line, 636-9004-TMA. Text in South City Sporting Goods. Text inbox 314-881-TMA5. And email in. Buck Swope has the lead for the month of July on the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. He has 2 wins. The Coalition with 1. JV Golf Coach with 1 the morning after at InsideSTL.com, as we are in the IHOP 8 o'clock hour. Try IHOP's new spring menu featuring tasty classic chicken sandwiches and new cinnamon apple pecan pancakes. It's IHOP, sponsor of our 8 o'clock hour. Doug, this is something that we didn't talk about on baseball either. If baseball allowed the umpires to make out with the pitchers and managers during mound visits, would that increase the ratings? That's from Eric in the Central.
Yes, it would.
So you would like that?
It'd bring in a whole different audience.
I like it too.
It'd make mound visits more interesting, I guess. I'm not saying better. I'm just saying to see what might happen would certainly make it more interesting. Instead of checking the gloves, for sticky substance, maybe they could make out with the pitcher coming off the field. I'm not saying I like it or I'm for it or against it. I'm just saying it would certainly increase the interest level.
I shave only my left nutsack if the Cards win.
Right. There it is.
So he's got a clean nutsack.
I have an audio clip here that says Chip Carey and Brad Thompson were talking furries.
I heard just a smidgen of that. I wasn't paying close
That's
attention.
another way to increase ratings. What do we got here?
It was almost our return music there when I was struggling there for a second. Yeah, here's the audio, though.
Mets lost today 8-2 in Pittsburgh. Power of the Furries took care of the Metropolitans again today. It's real. Yeah, it's a real thing. I must say, when we met that Cardinal fan with the Nolan Arenado shirt at the convention the other night in Pittsburgh, Cardinals third baseman's taken off.
How's he been doing? Feeling that. Feeling the Furries. I think we might have to dress up next year.
What would you be?
Fredbird.
Fredbird?
Just want everybody to know where I stand.
Yep, I get it. Company guy, Jim would have to be a cat of some sort. Garfield.
A good cat.
Yeah. What would you be?
You had to pick one. We saw a lot of interesting creatures.
There were dragons. There were giraffes. Saw somebody dressed up as SpongeBob. I don't know how that factored in.
Pretty inclusive community. They're going to let anybody in.
It's true. Very welcoming. Very nice. It was fun.
Saw a lamb.
Yes. Yep. We had a couple of unicorns. That was cool. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Okay.
I think they went to an event where there was a bunch of furries and they're still not quite through it. Didn't get quite past it.
McCutcheon always tweets out the furries thing, and the Pittsburgh fans love that. Cutchback. Yeah. Well, that's some things to
odd. There. Would you ever leave the house dressed as a lamb?
Sounds like you're about to kink shame, and we gotta cut it off.
No, I'm gonna walk out if this keeps up.
I will kink shame it.
Yeah.
That is as stupid and ridiculous as it gets.
But what if it's hot?
Unless it's Halloween. It's kind of funny if it's Halloween. If it's not, I'm kink shaming you.
What if it's hot?
What could be hot about someone
dressed
tell you, as a unicorn?
You ever see the Belladonna furry movie?
No, missed it.
So Belladonna, boy, was she ever comfortable with her sexuality, wasn't she?
Good for her.
And so she would explore, and it was great. But then she got into the furry scene. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? And so I can't figure out, because physically you're not having contact. You're in a mascot outfit.
Right.
So it has to be stimulating the mind, but I'm trying to figure out what it stimulates in the mind.
She was wearing some sort of costume?
Yeah, she was. I think, was she a rabbit?
I have no idea.
I think she was a rabbit.
With cute little bunny ears. I like bunny and
somebody
kitten.
supported. I like kitten and bunny.
You mean like that?
I like kittens and bunny.
Was that her right there?
That was Keisha Gray.
But I think there is a situation where you can go skin to skin still wearing
Really?
Well,
You need a drop seat.
The only reference point I have is Entourage, which is an HBO show. But Johnny Drama, after losing a bet to Turtle or to Vincent E, had to go essentially have sex in a furry costume, and he was boinking. He was boinking.
Oh,
that's what they said they called it. And he was doing it. He was going to work. So I think there is a situation where you can, like Doug said, drop seat it.
Drop seat it.
And then still make love. But I think I don't know what the kink would be, because like something with like, no offense, KG, but like a spitting situation or a water sport seems like sub behavior.
Yeah,
sub dom thing. I don't know what the furry thing is.
I figure it's a thing to do if you're extremely ugly and you got to cover up your face or your body. And now you see somebody else in the same way, and you imagine the other person is you're highly attracted to.
I think it allows people to just bring out their animalistic, hedonistic side.
By dressing as a
primal?
lion?
Yeah, it's very primal.
Huh.
Well, there is that. Yeah.
And I've been in some of those costumes, not the furries per se, but I've mascotted in my day. It gets hot in those
Where'd
things.
you mascot from?
I was the Jaguar at Seckman.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah. Never once was the Gorlock at Old Webster U, but as a sweater,
does a bad job for someone who sweats a lot.
Absolutely. I can't imagine how Truman must feel on those late August, early September football games.
Tiger.
I think Truman's on scholarship, though, isn't he?
He should be.
Racers.
I know it's a highly coveted spot, and right at the end of the year, he takes off his head to reveal who it was.
Coming down.
Caller Buzz is texting in, and he says it's freeing to be in a mascot suit. It's for people that hate themselves. You can do anything you want and be something different. That's from Caller Buzz. He says furries hate themselves.
That's what I like the idea of a mascot, because you can literally do whatever you want, and it's not like you can't be embarrassed. You know, like you, the person, you're representing something bigger than yourself.
Unless the head falls off.
Then it's tough. But then you just hustle over and put it back on.
Yeah. So what did you do as a Jaguar?
Just some dances and just really getting the fans fired up to watch us lose to Eureka 63-0, something
You were
like
up
that.
and down the sideline, or were you in the bleachers, or where were you?
I was omnipresent.
Were you?
Yeah.
And who made this costume for you? The school just had it?
Yeah, I think it was just there in stock for us. I think they had to get rid of the one I used because I did some damage in that thing.
Oh. Did you get
Grundle.
to keep it? It'd be a nice keepsake.
No, I don't have it.
We'd like to see you wear it in here.
I'll see what I can
bad
do.
boys.
I don't make my way back down to Seckman as much as I should.
Going to high school with kids who believed they were cats was miserable. I was hissed at numerous times at some little beer cats. There were kids who believed they were cats?
Oh, yeah. I
that's
saw
a
that
thing.
teach in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Got
wow,
the
this is
ears,
great.
they got tails.
Yeah. It's been in the news a couple times. There's some schools in St. Louis where I think it was some girls who have claimed that they identify as a kitten.
Yeah, you got to give
and
them a
the
litter
teachers
box.
have to respect that and treat them that way. This is what's going on today.
Little beer cat says he was hissed at school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the worst is that the teachers and the principals put up with it. Instead of throwing them out of school or saying, knock it off.
Well, that's not
they
going to
just put up
happen
with
these
it.
days.
Well, it should.
The parents are in charge.
Doug,
well, that's wrong.
good news. The NHL's power rankings are out.
The NHL, they don't even have all the players yet. We haven't had the first day of training camp. We still got free agents to sign.
Where do you think the Blues are?
Oh, right in the darn middle. 15, 16.
I'm going to say 22.
Jackson, I know you monitor NHL free agency better than anybody.
Well, after the big Pavel move, I'll say 19.
23.
Oh.
23.
The league didn't like the Radek Fox.
They are behind the Utah Hockey Club, but ahead of Buffalo.
Nice. Good place to be.
They finished the rankings 17th, so they have dropped so far.
Well, they haven't really done anything yet to make you think, oh, they just got a lot better.
Shot at
They got
Radek Fox
They
out
got a
of
little
nowhere.
different. I don't know if they got better.
They lost Kevin Hayes.
Yep.
Yeah, but replaced him with Foxa.
Got those brothers.
Yeah. Have they played in the league ever?
Doug?
It's kind of been disappointing, a little surprising that they haven't been more aggressive to bring somebody in.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen? Are they just still hamstrung by some of these contracts?
Yes, the answer certainly in part is that.
Defensemen making way more money than they should.
That's right. That's right.
Well, all we can do is fasten the chin strap tightly and
get ready for this Utah Hockey Club.
I don't like that name at all.
I like it a lot.
I thought the Utah Yetis would have been fun and nice.
Yeah.
That was one of the possibilities.
I don't think there's an S on there.
Yeah, I think it was just Yeti.
No, Yeti would just be the cup. Yetis. That's
it's like fish and fishes. It's just there's no S to make it plural.
Really, like a deer, because a Yeti is what, a fictitious snow monster,
like an abominable creature. Yeah.
And more than one of those is still a Yeti.
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
Well, don't talk to me,
Kurt.
Who wins a championship?
Up in a landing strip.
Who wins the next championship, Doug? The Blues or the Cardinals?
Right now,
that sounds like something from the Little Piddles half and half.
Right now, I'd say the Cardinals. I'd say the Cardinals are closer.
Yeah,
because they have a chance this year.
Just depends on who's going to get hot.
If we can just get hot, we can win this baby.
Of course. Or the Dogs.
Not going to happen for them anytime soon.
Do you like what Hackworth's done?
Well, he's, 1-1?
That's right.
So I guess I'm 50-50.
If they got no Roman Berkey, it's not going to go well.
The Slam are in a position to win a national
How about that,
title.
Doug?
Are they? Yeah, they've been pretty good.
They have been. Ex-wife's a safety for that squad.
Yeah.
Go
pretty
Boston
good player.
Renegades. What's that?
Good player?
I haven't caught as many games as I used to, but they seem to be a perennial powerhouse.
Think you could play in that league? If you dressed up as this Jaguar or something?
That would be a hell of a video series. Let me suit up and go play in the Women's Football League.
A little video on that. Hey, Schaefer Door Company is a sponsor of our 9 o'clock hour. Doug used them last week. You can call or text 636-782-3608. It's SchaeferDoor.com. That's going to get you the quickest response time. They service all kinds of garage doors for service and new installs, and they have Monday morning standby service for those doors that break over the weekend, and they service commercial doors as well. So if you run a business or warehouse with big, tall doors, Schaefer is experienced in these types of jobs. It's Schaefer Door, a Clopay Master Authorized Dealer, 9 o'clock hour sponsor here on TMA, and Doug was a customer just last week. SchaeferDoor.com, 636-782-3608. Send your emails in for our design, air, heating, and cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. And you're welcome to text in to the South City Sporting Goods text inbox 314-881-TMA5. We'll take a commercial break, come back with our Schaefer Door Company 9 o'clock hour. This is TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen.
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
Hey everyone, CD Longo from Longo Biggs Injury Law here. We want to make it clear, if you get injured and you hire us, Doug or I will be your attorney. You may speak with our staff, but the majority of the communication will be with us. We get to know our clients, we become friends with our clients, and we feel a responsibility to get the best outcomes. We're happy to say that we consistently get compensation on our cases that is much higher than the national and local average. If you need help, find all of our information at longobiggs.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you want a first-class, top-of-the-line, high-quality interior remodeling job, you know who I'm going to suggest. Collier & Thompson. Known for their kitchen and bathroom remodels, Collier & Thompson is where you go when you want your remodeling job done right the first time. Collier & Thompson doesn't just do large remodeling jobs. They do plenty of man caves, bars, offices, pretty much anything inside your home. Check out their 10,000-square-foot showroom next to Uncle Bill's Pancake House on Manchester. Let them bring your dream remodel to reality. CollierandThompson.com.
The Illinois Recovery Center is dedicated to providing precise and authentic care to those seeking help and treatment. Recovery, it's not just a goal, it's a transformative journey. At Illinois Recovery Center, you'll find an unwavering commitment to provide the support, guidance, and personalized care you or your loved one needs to rediscover a life filled with purpose, strength, and lasting renewal. If you or someone you know wants more information about the Illinois Recovery Center, please call 888-472-9559 or visit IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is now right at your fingertips here in Illinois. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. We're excited about launching our Circus Sports app in Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Start betting like a pro from anywhere in Illinois.
When we think of a real estate agent, we think of somebody simply selling our home or finding us a new one. I mean, they're all the same, right?
Okay, here's the comps. We'll take some pics, we'll post them, and I'll get back to you, okay?
A home is life-changing, and your real estate agent should reflect that. Honesty, integrity, and someone who will go above and beyond to make your dreams come true.
The Jeff Lotman Group with Compass Realty. We're different because you're different. We want what you want. Experience the difference today at jefflotman.com, bringing people and properties together.
Hey, it's Jackson. TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially, saving for retirement and college, while also paying bills and enjoying life along the way. Whether you are starting your financial planning or if you're already retired, call Mark Hanna. Mark works with you to design a financial strategy. His straightforward approach starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your financial needs. Visit evergreenstl.com or call 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and offers insurance and annuity products through Equitable Network, LLC.
Rosalita's Cantina is known for having the best patio and the best Tex-Mex in town. From carne con cerveza to shrimp diablo, the amazing menu at Rosalita's is full of classic Mexican dishes. Plus, it's always time for a margarita. Rosalita's has the most delicious house and specialty margs in town. Enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 and brunch at the De Pere location on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 3. Check out RosalitasCantina.com or visit the downtown or De Pere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalita's.
The choice of a lawyer is important and shouldn't be based on an ad.
After a serious car accident, people have two questions. Why me and what now? Well, no one knows why you, but I'm Terry Crouppen, and my law firm Brown & Crouppen sure can help with the what now. Car repairs, medical bills, lost wages, pain and suffering. We're Brown & Crouppen, and we've got all those answers. All you have to do is call 222-2222.
Stupiracy, the podcast where stupidity meets history and conspiracy. With hosts Scott Rizzuto and Tim McKernan. Check out the latest episode available now as Riz and Tim unravel the chaotic tale of the 1904 Olympic Marathon. Heat.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Dust. Hallucinations.
I know that, dude.
And wild dogs? Discover the wild and ridiculous chaos of the most disastrous marathon in Olympic history. Learn about the 1904 Marathon Madness with Stupiracy. Watch or listen now on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube. Presented by Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Visit evergreenstl.com or call Mark at 314-889-0503. And by Brown & Crouppen, 222-2222 or getbc.com.
KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Now.
It's the Brown & Crouppen Morning After. KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis.
Doug, you wanted it? You got it.
Yeah, this is what I wanted badly.
Is this the remix?
What's dead may never die.
God. Somebody cut a remix?
This is Cassie and Cole Rip.
Doug, you know Cole Rip.
Who's Cole Rip?
To be fair, it's R-I-P-P-E, so it could be Rippy.
Yep. Or it could be Ripe.
Cole Ripe. We have a minute-long previous.
Is Aux on this?
No, just to be safe.
We don't need Cassie coming after us.
No, thank you.
Remix, PFG.
What does PFG stand for?
Can't say it on this.
Yeah,
I think I can say it on Balloon Party.
Well, I'm going to ask anyway.
And you like this music, do you?
No.
Okay. Some people
not
like things.
Not my
Thank you.
flavor.
Yeah.
But music is, I think, the most subjective of all art forms. So
Probably so. Either that or art.
Paintings, you mean?
Yeah.
Welcome in, friends. It's the Schaefer Door Company, 9 o'clock hour here on TMA. Jackson and I are 36 minutes away from going down a hallway. Jackson, Doug wants to know what you've got prepared on Balloon Party today.
Yeah, can't wait to hear.
Today's set of questions is the Tuesday, Doug. Yeah. So today is Wet Hot American Piddles.
And what does that mean?
It just means I got 7 just rock solid.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Well, could you share one of them with us now, or would it be letting the cat out of the bag?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. I like to,
Wet Hot American Piddles.
It's a lot of questions to get to in 1 hour.
We won't get to all of them, but that's the goal.
Because he wants to light the fire that gets my... Yeah.
Tim is the charcoal briquettes sitting in the chimney.
Interesting.
I'm the newspaper and the...
What about the fire starter? Drew Barrymore, 1980...
I don't know the years, Tim.
When I say 84 to get me 83 and 85, I think 82 is live, but 82 was E.T., and so she would have gotten the picture, gotten the picture after E.T., so I'm going to go 84 to get me 83 and 85. That's my reasoning. Firestarter, Drew Barrymore.
May 11th, 84.
Jackson, you're Drew Barrymore.
Daytime television.
And Firestarter, 1984.
And then I would say that having to go to the texters or YouTube commenters for the question is like lighter fluid, and lighter fluid on charcoal it affects the taste, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I can't do my job, which is of course starting the fire.
Okay.
So I prefer newspaper and a simple flame.
Sorry, I've been a little silent lately. I got a new ass yesterday, and getting the lips puffed today.
Oh.
Not much has changed. Future ex-husband is still locked up, and I'm still horny as the dickens. I need a man with a hammer to bang me in the pool house as he's forced to watch.
Come on.
The ultimate cuckold. That's from the self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom.
And didn't she have eyes for Iggy?
That's Chewbacca.
Dirty Chewbacca, okay. You're right, Chairman Kurt.
All right. So she got herself a new popo.
How do you feel about your feet?
Well, I just had some work done on my arthritis last...
Oh, gosh. That's hot. When you can treat inflammation like that, I don't care who says it isn't. It is hot.
Pull on my peach fuzz.
Oh, Doug's. Our segments are so erotic. We have women who have their husbands locked in their pool house while they get... Now, is a new ass a Brazilian butt lift?
BBL, yeah.
It is?
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Well, or just implants in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think what percentage of women in St. Louis have BBLs?
Oh, percentage? Like what? Okay, let's play real women under 40. Let's say women under 40 with BBLs. Because I don't think there's a lot over 40, although if there are...
Because they're smart enough not to do it.
Well, let's not, judge so quickly.
Yeah, it sounds borderline kink shame.
Yeah. Percentage of women under 40 and over 21.
Okay.
So we have a 19...
In St. Louis with BBLs.
Not even 1%.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so 0.5%.
But what about if we went to Southern California or South Florida?
You're going to creep into the single digits a little bit, probably in the 2%.
I can't imagine.
So 1 out of 50. Interesting.
It's kind of a dangerous procedure.
Is it really? What do they do? I don't even know what goes on there.
Not positive, honestly.
Haley Davies has one, right?
I don't know who that is.
I think it's a fat transfer thing as opposed to artificial stuff put in your tush.
Really?
Which obviously
they're taking it out of somewhere else, out of the gut or something? Liposuction out of there and jam it back in?
Yeah, they use the patient's own fat to enhance the size and shape of their buttocks.
Right, so it's...
And then the ladies say they're all just doing squats. Squatting this and squatting that.
So it's serving two purposes. You can take away some unwanted fat and put it in where you want it, which is, of course, the ass.
Oh.
You did your hair. Let's plumping up that rump, Doug.
Right in time for the orgy.
I can't imagine any doctor could perform that surgery without laughing. Look, I'm actually putting fat in the buttocks.
Laughing at how much money they're making. It would be really funny, though, if it was like a Where Are They Now segment on Channel 4 and Doug has, in the years off of television, gotten a hair transplant in the BBL.
Can't fit in my pants.
Why can't we go now to Doug Vaughn and you're in a leopard
Do you think a gentleman's ever gotten a BBL?
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Chairman
Really?
Kerr instantaneously.
I always go back to what Doug says. If you can think it, somebody has done it.
Yeah,
Right,
I think,
probably.
if you're asking has anyone, yeah, probably, but I would think that number is really
Well, there were some allegations that my boy Drizzy had that done. I don't buy
Drizzy?
into it.
Yeah, well, they say he sculpted
Doug,
his
do you think
abs.
Drizzy got a BBL?
He may have. Sometimes you see somebody that just has no butt at all, like from the back
Just
of their hip, it
straight
just kinda
from
goes
lower back
straight to the
to-
leg.
Like the pockets on their pants touch.
Yeah, you can almost see it then. But if you just have a regular caboose, why would you want to add fat to it?
Well, that
It's
is
all about feeling comfortable in your own
I don't-
skin.
But why would you feel comfortable if you were fatter?
But your ass being fatter doesn't necessarily mean you're fatter.
Yes, it does. It means your ass is fatter. That means you're fatter. It's part of you.
But it gives that more of a curvy look. Va-va-va-voom.
A
as
guy,
you say.
what guy wants a curvy look?
I can't tell you.
You're talking about guys wanting to have their significant other have that, or a guy who wants
Either,
to.
but especially for guys. What guy wants to have a curvy look? What guy wants to be zoftig?
Va-va-va-voom. I would say for women, that is like, for people under 40, like, that is a conventionally attractive look, is to have a larger bottom.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put that in my Hinge profile. Currently recovering from a male BBL.
Oh.
See if I get any play from that.
Let's see. My wife's friend in Scottsdale just had a butt lift after 2 kids, and it's real nice. That's from BMAC. How about that, Doug?
Okay.
I don't know what a lift is. I mean, a BBL is, I guess, a lift, but I don't know if they're the same. I don't know where the Brazilian part comes in. That might be the transfer of fat.
Wouldn't it affect how everything felt when you sat down? Wouldn't you feel like you're sitting on something?
Probably
maybe?
comfier.
Like a cushion?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably comfier.
What percentage of sexy young twinks in St. Louis have a BBL? I know I can count at least one. That's from Suckboy Tony, Doug.
No, here comes Suckboy Tony.
Maybe the drop will do a lot.
Larry Nickel is on the Collier and Thompson phone lines.
Oh, that's right.
And he wants to talk it over with you, Doug. Unbelievable show last night, Larry.
Yes, it was, Tim.
Doug, could you believe that?
I couldn't believe it. I don't want to believe it. It was the most shocking thing I've never seen.
So
what happened?
Have you been watching something else in the past 3.5 decades?
Yeah, I really haven't. So what happened?
Well, the main event was a mixed tag team match between Rey Mysterio and Selena Vega. They were going up against Dominic Mysterio and the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan.
Okay, and what happened?
Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan won the match. And they went to go hug each other. Dominic Mysterio didn't want nothing to do with it. But Liv Morgan hopped on Dominic Mysterio, dragged him down to the mat. They were about to kiss. Then all of a sudden, here comes Rhea Ripley. And Liv Morgan ran out of the ring into the crowd in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And then Rhea Ripley ran in the ring and had a stare down with Dominic Mysterio.
Why?
Wow.
Because of, I'm guessing she's been watching at home the whole thing with Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio.
All right. And this is the other girl's boyfriend?
Well, storyline boyfriend, yeah.
Oh.
Watching Twilight Zone?
Yeah, there's so much going on right now, Doug. Now, Larry, when you say storyline, what does that mean?
That means that they're not together in real life.
Oh.
Doug, is
Kinda
this
like,
not real?
Kinda like how the matches aren't real?
What are you talking about, Doug?
Well, it's choreographed, but it's not real.
What are you talking about, Doug?
Okay, not gonna get anywhere.
Larry, do you think
by
any
the
of the female superstars have had BBLs?
That's a good question.
What is BBL?
It's a Brazilian butt lift.
I don't know.
Wouldn't you think you'd have to be careful that something might pop or break or something? Plastic surgery might.
Definitely want to adhere to the recovery time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Doug, I want to correct you on something.
Okay.
You've been talking about football being only on Sundays.
Well, it is
There's
definitely
other
on Sunday. It's not the only day, but it's certainly on Sunday.
Yeah, there's other days there's football on besides Sunday, Doug.
This is true.
Take that, Doug.
Monday and Thursday.
Yeah, no,
Saturday
we
in
both that.
December.
Thursday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
Get your back fixed, Doug.
Well, we got that taken care of.
Larry, you have the top 5 countries in the world at your disposal.
Yes, I do. Number 5, Brazil.
As where the butt lifts come from.
Number 4 will be Mexico.
Okay.
Number 3 will be India.
India. Okay.
Yeah,
They've
India.
made the list before, but it's good that they're
Not,
on there now.
not Jonathan India, the country India.
Gotcha. Okay, figured that. Okay.
Number 2, Canada.
All right.
Number 1, United States of America.
Yes. Yes. The 1982 Cardinals, Doug.
Mm-hmm. Still number 1. We've always been number 1, I think.
No,
1 week.
Philippines
snuck up.
Oh, really? Because of Imelda Marcos?
That's
and
correct.
The shoe thing?
The shoe collection. That's exactly right. Corazon Aquino remedied that. Larry, God bless you, and God bless these United States of America.
God bless America.
All right, thank you, Nixie.
Larry Nickel giving us perspective. Send your emails in. We're about 10, 15 minutes away from the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Doug, we're in the Schaefer Door Company, 9 o'clock hour. Why don't you tell me something about that Schaefer Door Company?
I had a problem last week. My door would go up, but it wouldn't go down. Ah, yes, down is what it wouldn't do. And because it's an aluminum door, and I've had it for 25 years, I thought, oh, no, I'm going to have to replace the whole door. Called Schaefer Door Company, of course. Who else would you call? Schaefer. I didn't even knew how to spell it.
Yeah.
And they said, no, you don't need a new door, even though it has bowed, it's sagging a little bit in the middle from age. You just need a new metal brace or two. And so they very quickly put a new metal brace in there. Now the door works perfectly. Instead of having to go through the expense of a whole new door, Schaefer Door came out there with their great expertise, fixed it up real nice-like, and the door sounds better than it ever has before. Hardly makes a noise now. They just do great work at Schaefer. You can call or text them. I'll give the number now, 636-723608. And, of course, that's spelling Schaefer, SchaeferDoor.com is the website. They've got great people, technicians who've been with them for many, many years. They've seen it all at this point. They can handle little problems like mine, or they can handle big problems. If you own a business or a warehouse with one of those big, giant, tall doors, Schaefer Door is well experienced in any kind of job that you can throw at them. The business has multiple family members that have been working there for years. Big enough, as I said, for any type of job you can throw at them. Small enough that anytime you call, you're going to talk to a person, and they'll get to be that face-to-face, that person-to-person communication to get you taken care of just as soon as they can. Their service techs are not commission-based, which is why I didn't need a whole new door. I just needed a new little, I think they called it a strut. They put the strut on there, and now it works great. That's SchaeferDoor.com. Call or text 636-782-3608. Schaefer Door is a Clopay Master Authorized Dealer.
Doug's Hot Take Mittens are presented to you by EDF. Do you want to support the EDF Group as a sponsor of TMA? Well, it's real simple. Do you have a fire extinguisher where you work? The answer is yes, you certainly do. So please email the EDF Group at fire@theedfgroup.com. That's fire@theedfgroup.com, so a technician can come out and explain to your team how the EDF Group can save your company money. Again, that email address is fire@theedfgroup.com. The EDF Group is hired and will prevent your facility from having high fires. Experience the EDF Group difference. Learn more at theedfgroup.com. EDF, sponsor of Doug's Hot Take Mittens, which if you are watching on YouTube right now,
I got them right here.
you get a chance.
I don't get burned.
Yeah, because those
takes do get hot.
Doug, Stephen A. Smith is in negotiations. His contract's up at the end of the year. And it looks like, according to do you read Bro Bible?
Every day, yeah.
The Puck's John Oron reported that ESPN has offered him $18 million a year.
Gosh.
He immediately turned it down.
Of course.
He's now tracking towards a $120 million. There goes Chairman Kurt. See you, Chairman Kurt.
Goodbye. Well, see you, Kurt.
He's got to go do a sound story down at KMOX with that Tom Ackerman, who's...
He'll be a snootful.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, I hear things.
Yeah. Maybe he'll mellow with age.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. John Oran said he was offered $18 million a year, immediately turned it down. ESPN has been working hard to re-sign Smith, whose contract ends at the end of the year. Last week, ESPN made its initial offer of $18 million per year for 5 years. I'm told ESPN execs pitched Smith's WME. Is that William Morris, Doug?
Probably.
Agents that he would be their highest paid star, earning more than Monday Night Football's Troy Aikman or Joe Buck. It's an insane amount of dough for a TV personality, but still might not be enough, According to a new report from Front Office Sports' Michael McCarthy, there's a good possibility that Smith will become the company's first $100 million talent. McCarthy says he's hearing that Smith could make up to $125 million in his new contract. Via Front Office Sports, the stars are aligning for Smith to become ESPN's first $100 million talent. Sources have relayed that his new compensation could eventually come in between $20 million and $25 million per year over 5 years, compared to 5 years, $90 million for Aikman, 5 years, $85 million for McAfee, 5 years, $75 million for Buck. Smith earning over $100 million would be wild, but he does work hard. He does work hard. But he does work hard, and the ratings show that he's probably worth. Yeah, I was enjoying the column until right at the end I realized I was reading something from, something.
Well, how do you know I'm freaky?
He is funny and opinionated. He's made a big name for himself. But are the ratings possibly good enough to make him that kind of money?
Well, I guess if you're concerned that ratings are down everywhere else and his are okay, that you got to hold on to that.
Is that what the deal is?
I have no idea.
Oh.
But I'm just theorizing if you're concerned about non-Stephen A. Smith programming that isn't like the Pat McAfee show, that isn't live sports, then if he's the thing that's doing okay, you hold on to that asset for dear life.
If it still makes financial sense, and it must. I mean, the people aren't complete idiots running the place.
Sure.
When is he on? I don't ever see him.
Whenever we're on Balloon Party, Stephen A. Smith is over Jackson's shoulder.
Yeah, it's like it's not like first thing in the morning, but it's probably 8 or 9 a.m. Central or Eastern time.
Would you guys turn down $18 million a year to do this? Because we're on longer than he is, probably.
Yeah, and we have a bigger audience.
Yeah, got to figure that in.
I don't know.
It'd be a blow to our egos to have to
settle.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me!
Yeah. I mean, we do the same kind of things he does, don't we? Does he have some insight that the rest of the world doesn't have?
No, but he's a personality. He's a personality that people know just on his face or his voice, and, those are not just readily available.
How old do you think Stephen A. Smith is, Doug?
50?
Over.
Older.
Is he?
I'll go 58.
I was going to go 56. All right. The bets have been placed. 56. Yes.
Okay.
One of my favorite things on Twitter every once in a while is Stephen A. Smith walking through Madison Square Garden, or they'll do an NBA shot of him walking into the tunnel, and he walks like he owns not only the Knicks but owns the entire sport of basketball.
He kind of acts like he does too, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's taller than you think too. He does all these shows with former athletes, so he looks really small. He's 6'1".
We played college hoops himself, right?
I don't think.
I think he was on a team. I think I saw his stats once where he averaged 1.5 points.
I thought that was Skip. I thought Skip. Because and now especially, Skip just put out a video of him shooting jump shots. Brutal. But Stephen A. Smith was a grinder in his early years, covering sports. And then he got to a point where he's my personality is the bigger thing.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you the money. You could have the greatest insight.
That's kind of media in general now.
Right.
You got a big personality.
That's it.
Love me or hate me, either way is fine.
Right.
Just don't be indifferent.
Yep.
Howard Cosell was kind of the first to figure that out.
No.
Human garbage.
Yeah. As many people hated Howard as loved him, but that's the formula.
Francesa, another key,
Yeah, probably.
I'm sure this conversation in New York where people couldn't stand him, those who loved him, but either way you tuned in.
And the cable news people are the same way. They make more money than anyone else.
Right.
100%.
Right. So that he's going with a strategy that has proven to yield a lot of money, even if he's out there, we have 100 drops of him acting ridiculous, but I'd act ridiculous to turn down $18 million a year.
You think the fact we don't make that is because everybody hates us? We don't have that other side of the coin where half the people love us?
I guess that factors into it.
I think it's because we're capital J journalists at our
Journalism
core.
first.
Yeah.
2 sources and all that.
Yeah.
So, we sacrifice the money for, the news.
For the good of the people.
Right. That's what we do.
Yeah.
This show is not for us. It's for you.
We break stories.
KG in O-Town just broke a story. I don't know what happened, but he just sent an image of what appears to be Somali pirates wearing TMA. I mean, he just left the studio, but he just sent an image of Somali pirates wearing TMA hats.
The hats look good.
They've got our stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder what they did with Captain Phillips.
You guys should be worth $18 million. His ratings come from airport and bar TVs on mute. That's from Crystal City Clamhammer.
Waiting room television is what.
Is that what it is? Waiting room television?
Panel shows in general are kind of waiting room. It's like what's on ESPN at 11 a.m. is not necessarily going to be their most desired programming.
Airports, at least everyone I've been into, has CNN on all the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to like an airport bar, there's going to be like 6 TVs with 6 different programs.
So I wonder if that makes a real difference in their ratings. And
I'm sure it does.
Reach.
I'm sure it does. Yeah. If you have places where companies where TVs are on all the time,
you figure they pay. You figure they pay for that?
Pay for what?
Like a CNN, would they pay airports to run their programming all the time?
No.
Somebody at the airport makes that decision that this is what we're going to put on.
It's just linear television. Yeah. I don't think that I would be surprised. Let me say that if a network would pay a company. I mean, maybe if it was like, but who are you contacting? Like each individual airport?
Yeah,
who's
probably.
the contact?
There's a lot of money in it.
Bill.
Yeah.
Bill handles all that.
DMX once did a sermon at that little chapel at Lambert Airport. Rough Riders, what up?
Okay. I'm just saying, if you were a big cable network of some sort and it cost you a couple $1,000s to throw at an airport to say we want our station to be on everywhere, it'd be worth it for you probably. And the airport would take the money.
Probably, yeah. Well, now you have a nice little cut. Don't say too much. You keep it to yourself. Maybe you could take that to News Corp or wherever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that's how it's done.
Jackson, I know Chairman Kurt had to leave, but I'm in the filtered file for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, and I only see 3, but then I see a bunch of emails that have been sent in. Doug, and I mean a lot of emails.
Really?
So since Chairman Kurt had to leave for his sound story responsibilities, I think that means you're probably going to have to go in there and then handle the filtering.
That is right.
All right. So send them in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. For the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today. That's coming your way. Then Jackson and I go down a hallway. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Keep telling yourself that.
We'll do a balloon party from 10 to 11. And then we'll do QFT at some point, perhaps tomorrow, but Jackson's giving me a hard out at 2 o'clock because England's taking on Switzerland?
Netherlands.
They beat Switzerland?
They beat Switzerland in penalties.
And you'd rather watch England play than the U.S., Benedict Burkett.
When did I ever say that? I never once said
that.
Well,
earlier you said you loved England. You love to watch them play.
I do love to watch them play, but I don't prefer over America.
How about this? Beer Cat says, I love KG, but this 3-cam view on YouTube is so much better than the 4-up. You like that term, the 4-up?
No, I didn't care for it.
But I have to say, I was, Doug, you call it toggling in between the windows?
Sometimes I say toggle, yeah.
And now that I see the 3-up?
Yeah, because we're all linear, we're all in the same.
I got to tell you, I kind of like it. But I think on the Riz show, but you told me, Jackson, this wouldn't work for us. I don't know. The Riz show, because they have 5 people on it, that whoever talks, the camera's on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's an audio-activated.
Mm-hmm.
As is ours.
It is.
Like Zoom.
Mm-hmm. It's ours, yeah.
Well, I thought ours was like we were permanently up in the 4-up the whole time.
Well, like if I have the 4 mics on, so if I were to turn on what would be Iggy's mic, you'll notice that we go into the 4 shot.
Right.
Turn that off, we go into the 3.
Right.
So, and if I turn...
But like I'm saying, they can have all the mics up, but if Riz is talking, Riz is the one on camera. Then if Learn talks, Learn's the one on camera.
Right, but correct me if I'm incorrect here, but if it would just make Riz bigger and the other 3 are still on...
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it like... because
I think that would be good.
I wouldn't...
I'd like to improve our YouTube.
But I don't think going like where it would just be a shot of you when you're talking and then it's just a shot. Like, I don't think that is the... Because
I think oftentimes people can be doing something, probably Iggy's the biggest victim of this, that is not negative. Like yesterday, I thought, Jackson and I talked about it. I mean, Maddie got a bunch of positive feedback. I don't know. I don't want to give my opinion on the situation because I don't want to give an endorsement because my endorsement, Doug, leads to backlash. Do you follow that thought process?
Sure, yeah.
But you could tell within the first 15 minutes that she was going to be good. Either way, I said to Jackson, we were BSing about it on Balloon Party, and I said one of the things that I liked the most is when she didn't have an opinion or knowledge on a topic, as should be the case for all of us. This isn't limited to, like, girls. She just stayed out of it. But then it becomes, well, they're not participating, so they must be bored, and you're just doing the right thing.
Yeah. But how are we going to make $18 million a year if we don't talk about things we know nothing about?
Okay, you're right about that, actually.
Now, but on your guys' these boxes, I don't know if they're not on YouTube, but we have little boxes where you plug in your headphones and you can adjust the volume. You can also turn on and off your mic. So if you were doing something where like you're just not in the
Interesting.
you can turn your own mic off, and that will automatically change it, which is different when Plowboy did it because we had an issue with this camera over here, but we fixed that, and so. So you could turn yourself off. Now, I prefer that because when you're cutting social media clips, if we change the aspect like this to the 3-shot in the middle of what would be a clip, it's impossible to edit around. Like you can't, or not impossible, it just becomes quite difficult because it completely changes up the way it looks. However,
I just would like a 1-shot for the person talking.
Really? You think that's better?
100%. Yeah,
I think the 4-shot's better.
But I'm telling you, see, you're just recently on camera. It turns into like somebody's not participating. Well, then they must be bored, or they must disagree, or they must be mad, and it's not, of course, real.
Yeah.
I don't know. But when I see our social media clips, it's
right. Well, because
would you call that a double box stack?
I would never say that.
Well,
I'll never say that word.
So you'll notice that Tim and Doug, and by no mistake, are on top of each other. Doug being the top, which I think is the right dynamic.
Yes.
I think is the right dynamic.
Yes.
Anything but a bottom.
But for social media purposes, it is better because, like, oftentimes if it's like a Cardinal discussion, which gets good traction, or just sports talk in general gets good traction, it's usually you two talking. So it's easy because it's all in one box, stacked on top of each other. Whereas if we then go to, I'm saying something, or Iggy's saying something, switches to the other one, which is kind of nice from an editing standpoint. Whereas if we turn this off, it would then be a 1-shot. It would be a 1-shot back and forth. If I were to cut a social media clip from this aspect ratio, it would be Tim talk, Doug talk, Tim talk, Doug talk, so on and so forth.
But when I'm watching podcast clips on social media, that's usually what I see. I'm not talking about our show. I'm talking about other shows.
I also see a lot of 1-shots, but they're wider 1-shots.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So you're saying, but I'm not seeing a lot of like just one person and then switch back and forth like a Zoom call like Doug was talking. I see more wider 1-shots of the whole group as opposed to each individual.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Or at least that's the master shot, and then they might go into.
No, you like that term, the master shot?
I you would know.
A lot of the shots words I'm hearing, I just don't care for. The two stack and the.
You would absolutely use master shot in your, like the shot that you go back to, the shot that encompasses everybody, the master shot. Like in a football game, like the master shot is along the sideline, then they might do different angles based on the game, but they always have a master shot.
Cinephile.
All right. Well, I tried.
Okay.
Jackson. Ooh, I got to tell you, it's World Series of Poker season, and I guess poker's back in my algorithm. Somebody's got pocket aces, and they're actually playing them here.
That's weird. Guy doesn't know the game.
Against Daniel Negreanu, who's picked up ace-king offsuit. Doug, do you want me to do a play-by-play of this hand?
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, I got to do some business. Okay. Jackson, what do I need to tell people about?
2060 Digital and Mentality.
Okay. Mentality, if you are feeling sluggish, low energy, those are symptoms of low testosterone. What if you put on weight and you've noticed it's not as easy to put on muscle like it used to be when you would work out? Symptoms of low testosterone, that can be it. Mentality is a local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. Even if you've tried testosterone before, not everyone understands the blood chemistry in men's bodies. Mentality can help. The normal range for testosterone is large. If you've been to a doctor and they told you that you were normal without understanding the range or testing your free testosterone, it was not fully looked at. Come get checked with Mentality. Testosterone therapy helps men regain normal function and restores the ability to perform normally at all levels. Go online at lowtusa.com and work with Mentality at lowtusa.com. Mentality. 2060 Digital is a Hubbard company. In today's fast-paced world of digital marketing, making meaningful connections with your audience can be a daunting challenge for any business. But what if there was a place where connections aren't just made but nurtured for growth? Enter 2060 Digital, the sister company backed by a 100-year-old media empire just like 105.7 The Point. If you're a business owner or marketer seeking more strategic ways to reach and engage customers, look no further than 2060 Digital. With 12 years of expertise, 2060 specializes in simplifying the complexities of digital marketing. Our team demystifies the process by transforming transforming it from a challenge into an opportunity for your business. Whether it's enhancing your brand's online presence, optimizing digital campaigns, or increasing customer engagement, 2060 is here to propel your business forward. Think your business has room to grow? Let us prove it to you. Visit 1057thepoint.com/2060digital to request a complimentary digital audit today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our Design Air Heating and Cooling Email of the Day!
Right.
Dear Maddie, if you're somewhere out there listening, know this. TMA listeners are the worst of what society has to offer. Generally speaking, we're angry, obese, horny mouth breathers with lots of free time and tons of burner accounts. Talk about a dangerous combo. Everyone played nice yesterday, but give it time. You'll see what's really lurking out there. Matter of fact, here's a challenge. Open up your DMs to the public so you can see what kind of filth listens to TMA. See how many unhinged wackos immediately send unsolicited pictures of their micro man meat. Do I need to remind everyone of Sheila from North Carolina who discovered TMA a few years ago? That poor woman called in, joined the fan page on Facebook, dealt with several stalkers, and completely removed herself from the entire operation in less than 48 hours.
Yeah.
No offense to Maddie, but she hasn't even been bullied or sexually harassed by an unemployed diabetic fan pager yet. She won't be smiling so much once she gets to know the truth about this crew. There's a reason this show broadcasts from a tiny, isolated witness protection bunker near the toilets. Again, I say, dear Maddie, wherever you are, listen to my advice. Distance yourself from TMA forever. Yet at the same time, I say, please come back. I miss you already. We all do. You're the best thing to happen to this show since Martin Kilcoyne. As soon as you left, these clowns started talking about international soccer, for crying out loud. Doug, that's the JV golf coach.
JV golf coach.
Does it only happen in Hilton Head? Is that the only place in the U.S. where people who never work out at home suddenly take up working out just because there's a bike path to jog on and a beach nearby? I saw so many fats glistening in the sun while almost passing out from heat exhaustion as they tried to muster their strength to jog to the pickleball courts by Salty Dog. Another great thing Hilton Head offers is the crazy rich whites that run through the crosswalks as 14 gigantic people on rental bikes gasp for air while they wait to cross the road to look into the small bodies of water for 2-foot alligators like they've never seen one before. It's also not unheard of during the 4th of July in Hilton Head to see rich, fat white men wearing bowling shirts while drunkenly lighting fireworks like a 4th grader, all the while letting the firework remnants drift into the multi-million-dollar homes sitting on the beach. That's some Cliff's neighbor.
Cliff's neighbor.
Morning, Marty and Edna Horowitz here from the Schneidhorst Restaurant and Bar Street team checking in. We're currently at the Food and Wine Expo up here in Sag Harbor displaying our staple dish, Bosco cheese logs with generic cheese dipping sauce and fancy catsup. A true delicacy when it comes to St. Louis food culture. Anyways, we ran into a few fellow St. Louis natives from Belle Nor. Edna spotted them from across the beach with their Android phones, front butts displayed beneath their hypercolor T-shirts and combat boots. We gave one another a firm handshake and then open mouth kiss Gus. He's upper crust of St. Louis. Old oil money and steel money. And by oil and steel, I mean he puts the oil and the steel cars at the Jiffy Loop over by the Hoosier Bowling Alley. You force yourself to visit once a year out in St. Charles for a co-worker's poor person gala and auction. That's what it's called? I thought it was called Gobble Bowl. It's called a poor person gala and auction?
Scathing review of Gobble Bowl.
Anyways, Gus would like to hear a replay of the segment where Plowsy called into work by submitting a late-night text to Chairman Kurt, formerly part-time Kurt, formerly volunteer KG in O-Town, when he was literally just a listener who helped out every now and again. And that's not even the punchline. The punchline was that the reason he called into work was because his pop-up tent ran out of gas, or he forgot how to crank the generator, or his fiance forgot to feed him his nightly Lunchable. And he had a tummy ache or something classically believable and responsible and attractive to the opposite sex. All righty, back to you guys in your Matchbox studio with a random sorority girl or Tim's buddy's caddy or whoever else you put Hurricane Herd into Hubbard to make a fool of themselves while Iggy pulls the chamber on his rusty waste paste dispenser from home.
Damn.
That's from the Coalition.
Oh, my God.
Doug, do you like that term, rusty waste paste dispenser?
I didn't care for it, no. The Coalition. The Coalition.
And finally, I'm currently editing a Swope's Peas about Iggy and Lisa Ann. Oh, boy. That's going to get Iggy going. He wants that topic to die.
He does.
And there's a subplot about Iggy watching porn with his friends at the Congress Inn, and he denies telling the story previously. Tim mentions that Swope has uploaded a clip to the fan page of Iggy telling the story from a year earlier, and Doug wondered where Swope finds the time, and Iggy tells Swope to get back to work and equated my job to sitting around and waiting for people to have IT problems and telling them to reboot. While there might be a kernel of truth to Iggy's overgeneralization, today I'm not going to be much good to you as there's IT problems like the Dickens stemming from storm-related power outages. For the record, Daddy Padre only agreed to never call in again if he lost to Iggy. However, he violated that agreement when he called back in, fooling your producers, and at that point, I believe Iggy blocked him from the text line at 590. Iggy denied knowing how to do this, but you can press him about it when he gets back from vacation. Pro tip, when you have to schedule your big boy responsibilities around watching European soccer in the middle of a workday, don't actually let people know the real reason why you are not available during that time. For the love of drink, don't actually tell people you're going to a bar at 2 in the afternoon on a Wednesday to cheer for England over the Netherlands in the Euro semifinals, and certainly don't broadcast on the radio as you'll be ridiculed by both people who hate soccer and by hardcore soccer guys who label you as a Ted Lasso-loving noob. Now, gotta go. I need to email John Kiowski to see if he wants to buy Rory Gallagher's guitar so Iggy can hold it. Thanks. That's Buck Swope. And Doug, that's what we have.
Nice email, Buck Swope. I see email this morning. We had some pretty good ones. I'm going to vote for the Coalition, though. I thought he was the best.
Coalition. The Coalition is one. Okay. Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Jackson, I got to go because it's 10:01 and we're on the air on 101. Bye.
Okay.
Hey, if you like the morning after, check out Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. HD1, by the way. It's Sports Talk with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson from